How is everyone doing tonight in this boom? I realize my intro doesn't play the sound now that I'm using StreamYard. But as I always say, if you're watching this on replay, if you're watching this live and you see me in vertical format, if you can't see my hands right now, click on my YouTube channel, go over to the landscape format. I am live in 16:9 ratio as well as 9:16 ratio. Boom, baby, boom. As always, I'm going to be live until I answer every single question. As of right now, I'm at risk of ending the live stream because there are no questions in chat. I don't know what to do with my hands. I don't know what to talk about. We are booming. And I don't have, maybe I do have. I was about to say I don't have a massive rant planned. I titled this one, The Time to Take Action Is Now. I made a video on Monday, and interesting. I had a certain plan for the video before I made it, and then the way that I can rant and ramble, as anyone who's been here knows, I went and I made it, and I'm like, when I got done recording the video, I had the same thought in my mind that some people commented in the comments, and Nick, actually, Old School Pokemon, reached out and he's like, Dan, you didn't say anything in that video. Let me, I have my presentation somewhere. So I titled the presentation on Monday, My 6-Month Startup Plan. You will make $100,000 a year if you do this and don't suck. That was my fine print. That was my asterisk. Simultaneously, I said all you need to know, all you need to hear, and I also said nothing. Like both of those things are true. I had a couple people leave the feedback, and it was funny. The one guy who left it in the comments, I don't remember the username, but he said, like, I'm going to go against the grain here. He must have scanned all the comments like, this video sucked. What are people watching here? The feedback was generally positive. I want to say it was like a 4 out of 10 video. It was like the 4th highest views over X duration in my last 10 videos. And I kind of left recording the video feeling the same way that guy who left that comment. He's like, I'm going to go against the grain. This guy sucks. It's like he stood up in the theater. What's going on here? Everyone's clapping, and he's just like, this guy sucks. What's going on? I'm going to get more specific. So I planned 2 videos in one. Blows my mind that it took me 45 minutes to get through what I had that night, that night that I recorded, that Monday that you watched. I think there's a lot of value there, but it was less actionable. It was more like, hey, here's concepts, here's ideas, like working way up here, 30,000 foot level. I am going to, like, very infrequently, the whole influencer thing that I talk about, I don't want to influence you to do. I'm going to grab your hand and I'm going to say, walk with me, Timmy. This coming Monday, I'm going to say, walk with me, Timmy. Day 1, turn on your device. Like, you know how back in the 90s, kid, Pop-Tarts, they're still a thing today, but I think they were a very 90s thing, Wildberry Pop-Tarts, all that. They put directions on Pop-Tarts. Step 1, remove Pop-Tart from packaging. Step 2, put it in toaster. Maybe step 3, plug in the toaster, set your dial settings. I'm going to tell you, day 1, do this. Day 2, do this. Week 3, I'm not going to go week by week, but I will give you a true 6-month startup plan for dummies, for like these are the things that I would be doing. I would take a deep breath. I would breathe. I would step by step what I would actually do. Not just the broad ideas as this channel usually is. I think there is significantly more value in the whole teaching to fish versus giving fish. I'm going to give you fish. I'm going to cook them. I'm going to catch them for you. I'm going to clean them, prepare them. I'm going to cook them. I'm going to shove them down your throat. I will handhold you the whole way. Hopefully simultaneously, I'll do the damn thing. I'll give a couple disclaimers here and there. I'll try to stay fairly light on that, but I will also give you some overlying concepts here. I'll say, hey, last Monday's video, when I said this, if you like thought deeper, you would have taken this way and done this. But some people, it just doesn't work. We'll walk hand in hand. We got Midi Timmy in here, all the Timmys in chat. I'm gonna break it down into very, very manageable pieces. And the ironic thing, I'm not gonna pick on anyone in chat. I'm not gonna pick on anyone in the comments. I'm gonna pick on myself. I'm 6'4" and 3/4. I don't round up. I just say what I am to all the significant digits that I have the ability to measure to. And I'm 240 pounds. I'm overweight. Losing weight is very simple. So some people play victim. So, and let me give the disclaimer out there. Let me be cautious towards the 1% of people that actually have some medical whatever. They can't exercise. There are some people without excuses, but that is the vast exception. For those like myself who have no reasonable excuse, I should be 210 pounds per BMI, which is an imperfect metric. Another victim thing. BMI is a terrible metric. Yeah, your 45 BMI doesn't matter because BMI is a terrible metric. BMI is a terrible metric for NFL players, for bodybuilders, for people with like super amounts of muscle that get called obese that actually clearly aren't obese. But anyways, back on track with my off-track rant. I should be 35 pounds lighter, 35 pounds lighter. I have no excuse. Like, I guess one excuse, we're booming. My personal financial wellness is significantly better than my personal fitness wellness. I should be working better on both, but it's easy. Don't overcomplicate it. Caloric deficit. Eat less, eat better, work out more. So like eat less, eat better, move more, move better. That's all it is. And I'm going to dumb it down to like that level. I'm going to walk you through, like, I'm going to slap the chicken wing out of your hand. I'm going to slap the IPA out of your hand. We're doing this. People watch a YouTube live stream and they're like, if you were to start over today, how would you start over? And then the YouTuber, they might tell you 5-10 minutes. They might like pour their heart out. This is what I would do. I would do X, Y, Z. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to rant to the screen for 30-45 minutes telling you exactly week 1, create this account. Week 2, create this account. Week 3, look this up on Google. Go drive in your car, take an Uber, take mass transit, walk to the local closest XYZ. I'm going to give you the recipe. And you know what's going to happen? Like me with health and wellness and fitness, most aren't going to do it. I know how to lose 30 pounds. I'm just not doing it. I've watched a couple of videos, I guess, in the fitness, health, wellness like area. I don't need that. I know how to do it. I could go into 50 different live streams of people that are fit and exercise and eat well and all that stuff. And I could ask them, so I'm 240 and I want to get to 210 and what should I do? Asking 100 people isn't going to make me lose an ounce. I guess a little bit of calories are burned when typing into the keyboard. But take action. What was the title again? The time to take action is now. Do something. Do anything. My video was fairly vague. My video was fairly high level. But it was like, eat less, work out more. My video on Monday was eat less, work out more. My video next Monday is going to be trade your chicken wing for salmon. Trade your chicken wing for a salad. It's going to be do jumping jacks, do push-ups, do squat thrusts, do burpees, do anything. Walk a mile with your dog, with your kids, anything. I think a lot of people get stuck in this. I don't even know if it's analysis paralysis, because it's like other people are doing the analyzing for them, and then they just listen and they're like, oh, that guy, he's been around for 12 years. He's had it so much easier. He had a collection in 2019 and his collection 20x'd. Well, you know what? People who had a collection 6 months ago, their collection's 10x'd or 5x'd or 2x'd or 20x'd, depending on what they had. Do something. Do anything. Same thing goes for me. Wake up in the morning, do 5 push-ups. It's more than I've done in the last 3 months. I've not done 5 push-ups total. In the last 3 months, my eating, my quantity, I'm doing something, but not much of anything. When it comes to the exercising side, I need to be doing a lot more. So I beg of you, if you're out there listening, do something. We're booming. We will not always be booming. The extent to which we're booming cannot be understated. I've said it. I've been pounding my head against the wall, saying it a million times lately. And Alex made a video. Shout out to Alex. Like when he is in a live stream, when he's in a video and he's saying something about XYZ or whatever, he's like, oh, if you want to hear tax stuff, if you want to hear more transparency, go check out Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles, friend, and he gives all that. And Alex is usually more reserved. He's usually more tight with his information, which is completely fair and fine. Like I don't owe anyone my transparency, all my numbers, but like I enjoy doing that because I enjoy hearing that from other people. So I put out the content that I would like to consume. But today, Alex mentioned, go check out his video. I guess I should just, most people here probably already watched it. Most people here probably either watched it or they know it exists because like my channel relative to his, if you know that I exist, you know Alex exists probably. He did $500,000 in digital rip sales in the past 30 days. He did $220,000 of pack rip sales in the last 30 days. $720,000. He does some other stuff too. He's not only, I think he does some grading plays. He obviously does the investing. Like he made, and it's not something I know exactly. It's not something that's even public, but like I have an idea what percentage he makes of the I was going to say IR sales. We have Fanatics Instant Rips. He has Galaxy Grails. I have a rough idea of what percentage he makes on Galaxy Grails. I have a rough idea of what his margin is on packs. People are making not just 5 figures annually. People are making 5 figures monthly. People are making 6 figures, 7 figures annually. We are booming. Do something. There are people like myself. Just earlier tonight, Pokey Profit was live. I think Alex was live, but I think he was ripping digital packs or physical packs or whatever. I'm sure that he does like, I don't really watch like pack ripping streams or anything, but he probably does like a light Q&A while he's within a stream. So you could probably ask him like reasonable questions. And I see people asking questions in the chat. Thank you for the stop signs. Thank you for the question, all caps, all that stuff. I will star them as I go, and I will come around and I'll answer every question before I end the live stream. So like, feel free to ask me things, but don't necessarily do exactly what I say. Don't necessarily copy me, but like take some action. You will regret it. There's a chance to think before you do. There's some people will be taking action in the next 1 day, 1 month, 1 year that they will look back on in a few years and regret. Some people are buying those black label ponchos for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't think that will age well. But who the hell knows? Maybe there'll be $1 million in 5 years or a decade. Who knows? Who cares? We're booming. Do something. I think doing something and getting burned a little bit will at least teach you something. You'll at least learn. As long as you're doing kind of one of the overarching 30,000 foot themes that I don't teach, but I say that I live by. I live by never taking a risk that will wipe you out. So if you lose a few grand in the coming few months and you're here to stay long term, I've gotten burned on some deals here and there in the past 12 years. And that's the best teacher, to be honest. Hearing about somebody else's loss, hearing somebody talk about their loss, you might like be able to avoid your own, like to some extent, but feeling that firsthand, that makes you feel something, that you feel alive, and it makes you better. It makes you better for it. Fail forward, all the things that they can say. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and then get back up on the horse, all the different things that you can say there. But I encourage people to like go out and do something, whatever that is. Don't blindly follow anyone. If Timmy McGee's in here, this is not a sermon. This is just one guy ranting, yelling at the clouds, having some tasty IPAs. So I'm going to look at my notes quick and make sure I didn't have anything else. And I'm sure I'm going to get the questions tonight. Why don't I do the rant before the questions come? The lights might turn red tonight. We have IPAs. I anticipate some people are going to jump in 20 minutes, 30 minutes. They're not going to know the context that I put down in the first 14 minutes and 50 seconds. And I might just like red light them, hit them like a truck. So in 45 minutes, I would not be surprised if little Timmy comes in, asks a question. Here's like an example question that I had up. When is Sword and Shield gonna move again? When is Evolving Skies gonna go up? Those are not the questions to ask me. I don't know. Nostalgianomics doesn't know. Nothing against him. He just can't know. Nobody knows. Pokey Profit doesn't know. He was live earlier. No one can know. If you come here and you ask me, when is Evolving Skies going to go up? You're wasting my time and you're wasting your time. That is not the kind of question that we ask here. And watch my video from Monday. There were good things there. The SMART goals, lean into your strengths, Ikigai. I don't know if I was pronouncing that correctly, but let me show this presentation from Monday. If you didn't watch the video on Monday, this is going to be new to you. But like, try everything. Know who you are. Are you a family man and you got to go to the dance recital and you got to go to the Cub Scout camp out and you got to go to know your boundaries, know when you're allowed to work and when you're not allowed to work, and when you're allowed to work, grind. If you need to play a little bit of video games, if you need to sleep your 10 hours for mental sanity, like stay mentally well. I'm not trying to like cause anyone to grind into burnout and have any issues, but so be healthy, all that stuff. We're going to hear the lawnmower go 50 times. Holy crap. I need to jump down to this one. I need to pause my rant. Earn gifted 50 memberships. Appreciate you, Earn. We are going to hear the lawnmower 50 times. I don't think you guys can hear it though. Funny enough, I hear the lawnmower in my ear 50 times. I don't think you guys do hear it though. Let me know in chat. Do you guys hear it or not? But the chef says literally by Prismatic, Evolving Skies, Ascended Heroes. That's all, folks. If that's what the chef is doing, like props to them, having a plan, sticking to it, having certain goals, having a budget. Maybe they put in 100 a day, 100 a month, 1,000 a day, like whatever their thing is. Know what you're doing, know what your goals are, do things every day that advance you towards those goals. Maybe I'll seem a little bit grumpy tonight. I'm frankly not sleeping as much as I should be. I'm not working out as much as I should be. In a boom, we sacrifice some things. I'm not going to sacrifice the family time. Maybe I check messages a little bit too much. Earlier today during family time, I was playing Barbies with the daughter. Funny enough, we were actually going fishing. My Barbie was fishing. Her Barbie was surfing. We were having a grand old time. Definitely was arranging a little bit of a deal in between the lulls, and we had a birthday party, all that stuff. She went to go get all the other Barbies to come join the birthday party. So I was doing my messages then. I was trying to be efficient in both ways. But I locked down a $48,000 collection that I'm buying tomorrow because we are in a boom. Where I am better off devoting the excess time answering messages, answering emails, doing the boom activities is 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., lose a couple hours of sleep, catch up when we're not booming. That is heavily what I advocate for. I joked around a little bit in Discord. I memed a little bit. I'm a RuneScape player. I'm in RuneScape. I'm barely over 2K total level. I got over 2K total level just before Sailing came out. I'm level 1 Sailing still. Sailing came out months ago, and I haven't touched the game because it would cost too much money. It would cost way too much money. You need to have some outlet, mental health, all that stuff. But we game once the boom's over. We sleep once the boom's over. That's where I come from, at least. With that though, the 50 lawnmowers are still going in my ear. You guys can see them on screen too. But set your SMART goals, set boundaries, obey the boundaries as much as possible. Sometimes it's hard when we're booming. Do things every day that bring you towards the goals. Lots of distractions in life. So many distractions in life. This phone does some business, but there's also all these apps and all these different things that can distract. Try to stay on topic. And this is what I said. In large overarching theme of the last video was like, find a thing you enjoy. Vending, streaming, flipping, grading, whatever it is. Find something you enjoy that makes you money, that you're good at. The Holy Trinity. Then there's the whole Japanese thing of Ikigai. But yeah, and then the whole Henry Ford thing. Great quote. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Believe in yourself. All that stuff. Literally try everything. Try it once. Document it all. My video next week will be this video just zoomed in on this slide and expanded out. Like if you've ever seen a parts manual or whatever, it'll show the engine. I'm thinking of like a lawnmower one. It'll show the lawnmower's running, so I've got to. It'll show the engine. It'll show like the chassis. It'll show the mower deck. It'll show the blades, and then it'll do like the Super Troopers enhance, and then it'll go in and it'll blow apart the engine. So we're gonna blow apart the engine, and we're gonna see what the parts are of the engine. we're going to blow apart the mower deck, and we're going to see the pulleys and the blades and the bearings and all the different things, all the grease fittings. And I'm going to tell you what exactly I would do step by step in order. Start this account. All that stuff will be addressed. I can't hear my 90s country music when the lawnmower's going. I see we've got 10 gifted by, where are we? Steve at Tactical Trading. Shout out to Steve at Tactical Trading. If you are looking for Japanese wholesale product, go check him out. Steve is your guy. That is where I buy the vast majority of my Chinese product lately. It's been a little bit slow on streams lately for me, but I know some people who are still crushing with it. Tons of lawn mowing going on. Appreciate everyone. And yeah, definitely go check out Earn. He does a, he's my favorite. Let's see if I can get him all right. Earn. Buy, sell, trade, collect, vend, grade. He's my favorite buy, sell, trade, collect, vend grader out there in the space. He's got a nice podcast sometimes it's every other week. Sometimes it's weekly. Sometimes it skips 3 months. Most frequent podcasts do durations like that. They're a little bit more intermittent than the consistency of a Pokey Flips. But go check out Earn. Great channel, great podcast with Jojo Jake over there. So definitely go check them out. A lot of cool people in the chat hanging out. We are booming. I'm going to start starting questions. I know I have 2 streams at the same time. I have the vertical orientation for the mobile gang, and then I have the landscape orientation for the desktop gang. But Monday's presentation is pretty much entirely fleshed out. And yeah, let me reshare this. So 5 ways to make $100,000 a year starting tomorrow. $100,000 a year, as I mentioned a few videos ago, like probably a couple of months ago, $100,000 a year. Finally, the lawnmower stopped. I can find my volume might go down myself because the lawnmower is not blasting in my ear anymore. I can finally hear the 90s country again. But I'm gonna just tell you in only 5 ways. I'm gonna go deep on 5 different ways to make 100 grand. There are 50 ways to make 100 grand. There are thousands of people have to be thousands. There has to be thousands of people making 100 grand a year in Pokemon. There are hundreds making hundreds of thousands. There are dozens making millions a year, if not more than that. There's probably hundreds. Depending on if you count businesses, individuals is more tough. But they're out there, I promise. Those are all the upcoming videos. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Let me know in chat. Home Alone or 3 Ninjas? When you're defending your castle, are you team Home Alone? Are you taking Kevin's strats? Or are you taking Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum? Let me throw a poll up. I've got to do it. I'm here. I've got YouTube open. I'm going to start a poll. So for home defense strats, are you team Home Alone? I'm actually, yeah, we're going to go Home Alone and 3 Ninjas. So are you team Kevin or Rocky, Tum Tum, and Colt? I'm going to vote myself. I think it's a deeper cut. I think it's a deeper cut than Home Alone, significantly deeper cut. But 3 Ninjas is the way for me. I'm voting. It doesn't let me vote. I need to log in on all and get a vote in. But I'm assuming Home Alone will win. But 3 Ninjas is the deeper cut. That's the one that I'm picking personally. Danalytics incoming always. Usually every other week, but it is every week right now because we're booming. The man, the myth, the fisherman. Nice to see you, Garen. Julia watching without sound on the train, but I know Dan is speaking facts. Hope he isn't saying anything crazy right now. Very, very risky comment to make because you never know what I could have been saying when that was on the screen. Appreciate it. Red lights immediately. James is probably heading to bed soon. In a boom. James, we can't go to bed that early. James, let me know if you're still there. We're booming. You better be up late. You probably got some Instagram record sales to post. Well, one thing, while James is here, well, at least whether he's here or not, I don't know, but he's on the screen at least. James posted some buy it now sales earlier today. When I make a video 2 months ago, that was like 2 booms ago. 2 months ago was 2 booms ago. The boom, 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 boom. PK, if you need another clip for your future video, boom, 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 boom. The boom boomed again. Some of these buy it now sales that James is doing, do people not I know that people don't realize what's going on, but like people really don't realize what's going on. There are people buy it now in cards at $99.75 that I think would auction for 18 or 20. There are people buy it now in cards for 4 or 5 grand that I think would go for 10. Everyone's got to make their own decisions and all that stuff. But like, historically speaking, of my 12 years, 7 of my 12 years, so the majority of my 12 years, I've generally been a buy it now guy. Probably even more than that. Probably 7 to 10 of my 12 years, 7 to 9 of my 12 years, I've been like a buy it now over auction guy on the selling side. Buy auctions, sell buy it nows. But these days, buy it nows from James that get listed too low and then receive them in the mail, send them back to James, send them to me, consign today. I've done it myself. I've been buying it 90% of card ladder, 92% of card ladder. I in Discord earlier today, I just bought like 40 grand worth of cards at like 92% of card ladder. And, but yeah, I started saying it and then I didn't finish my ad. If you want to consign today, I'm on risk. Negative 100% is the worst you can do, plus 1,000%, plus infinity percent. Oh man, asymmetric. The asymmetric upside that the hobby provides. You can only lose all your money in a play, realistically, in a couple of weeks, in a month. 50% maybe if you get completely brutalized at the absolute tippy top. And the upside is like, I bought a PSA 9 Gold Star Pikachu in late December for 10K, and I auctioned it 6 weeks later for like 20K. And I netted like 9K profit. 9 months ago, last summer, 17 booms ago, I bought a Venusaur from a lower Landry Pop auctions, 17K. I sold it a couple months later on Fanatics for like triple, like $30,000 plus net profit in the span of a month and a half. There are momentum plays to be made. Know your risks, know your downside. I may or may not have dipped into the old Chase line of credit a time or two to make some of those risky plays, but know your risks and know your goals and do something. Do something. We are indeed booming, Mitty Timmy. How much boom is too much boom? There's no such thing as a too much boom. I'm ready for my Pokey Profit sermon. Let's go, boys. Pokey Profit, not like Pokey Profit, Pokey Profit, like prophecies foretold and such. Lechonka Mania, love to see it. Yes, I use OBS. I use OBS with I'm using OBS with StreamYard right now. So I have the ability with StreamYard to do 2 cameras. I guess I need to share it as like a second screen, but it works. So I'm gonna star a bunch of things, and then dear God, James is in chat. It's serious people, code red. How is it even possible to boom harder? The thing is, we were asking this 6 weeks ago, and like, I'm just gonna wave my hands at today's market. Like, this is how we are living how it is possible. We're booming. I need another. I got my nice little handy cooler my wife packed for me. She packed my lunch for this live stream, and it's a liquid lunch. Thanks, Mrs. Ketchum. So I am going to continue on down. Step 1, buckets. This is nothing, ZNG. We are early. We 100x from here. You love to see it. Well, let's get the ASMR. Ready? There we go. Beer Kraken ASMR channel. So I am starring a bunch of things. That beard getting thick. Yes, indeed it is. Corey Link tuning into the PK streams on Fanatics. And I'm actually going to take this. So I didn't say it first. Corey Link gave me an entry. Every day, go find the guys. On Fanatics, we have PK, we have Ponga, and then we have Bierski. Maybe we'll get more guys there too in the future. But PK, Ponga, Bierski there primarily. And then over on eBay, we also have Bierski, full-timer. We have Grimer, Spat, and Ponga. I'm gonna, on the eBay side, big things are underway, ongoing, gonna happen in the future. Stay tuned. Tune in here to me. Tune in there to them. Big things are happening with the, I'll say it this way, with the currently 9-to-5 side hustler in a boom. What are we doing? They're working on things potentially. Potentially, we'll see. But things are going on with the eBay team. They are crushing. Things are going on with all of the Ketchum crew. We are booming. They are taking notice and they are taking action, as the title says. So stay tuned for extremely excited things. Find all the guys: Spat, Grimer, Bierski on eBay. Bierski again, PK Punga on Fanatics. In 10 days from today, on March 28th, PK has a massive stream. I forgot to grab the slabs, but I'll post on Instagram. My live next week, I'll talk about it more. I'll show all the slabs. PSA 10 YouTube, PSA 10 Ascended Heroes, SIRs. I just bought 40 grand worth of slabs, which will primarily go to PK. Dollar auctions, 30-second auctions in Fanatics Live. We are letting them fly in a boom. It is crazy. I'm going to scroll down because I saw a super chat. We do play. We do have pay to play here. I will answer everyone's question for free, or I will answer your question first, though, if you do a super chat or a gift. Let's Rock It says, "What's up, man? My slab lot should land tomorrow for the consignment service. I use the Skyward email address, my friend. Very excited for this." Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you for consigning. Again, if you want to consign, the rates for the standard consignment, if you send slabs, are right here. Again, like I'm a terrible salesman. I'm a terrible salesman. I will tell you, go check out DC Sports. I will not tell you to go to Voldemort, but go check out DC Sports. Go check out James, ZNG Emporium. Go check out Sealed Choice Consignments. All great guys that I've used in the past, that some I use currently. I trust them with my cards. I've used them before. They do great business. But if you decide, check out eBay, check out Fanatics, check out the Sold. Fanatics does great too. And I beat not all of them, but some of them. I guess if you're on mobile, you can't quite see this. But I beat most of those rates with my tiers here. So you're getting a couple percent higher. I guess let me be a little bit of a salesman and pitch you on like what is additional to my thing. I have, when you consign with me, you get shared a consignment seat, a consignment sheet. You get shared like the status of your items. Once they're listed, you see them go up. Once they're starting to get paid, you see which ones are paid, which ones are awaiting payment. If any get canceled and relisted, you see which ones. I pay out via friends and family. Not everyone does that. I pay out via Zelle. I pay out via ACH wire. Check if you want it, if you need it. I only have a couple people that do that, but lots of different ways. One additional thing that I have that I think some have this, but not everyone has this, always do your due diligence. Whether you can sign with me, whether you can sign with other people. If you add signature tracking to your package and you ship it to my vault, or if you sell to me, say you sell to me on my hot buy list, and you add signature tracking when you send to my PO box or you send to PK or Ponga, there is full inbound insurance for the full value of the package. And here's my hot buy list for the week. It's updated every Monday. So if you want to sell me PSA slabs, CGC slabs, if you want to sell me Sword Shield, Scarlet Violet booster cases, if you want to sell me packs, all my buy list rates are there. It's no fuss, no hassle, the easiest sales you will ever make. I pride myself on being very easy to do business with. So yeah, appreciate you very much. Let's rock it for the 10. Hopefully we can get you some massive prices in the boom. I need to be better. Like James is great about posting the Instagram posts, highlighting the very big sales and the record sales. And I need to do, to be fair, he has more of them. He does 1,000 items a week. I do, well, crazy to say it, I do more items weekly than James does, but most are of the CGC Fanatics variety. I've had some weeks where we've done 5,000 items through CGC Fanatics. Grade your cards for $850. They get sent into auction, and then I front the grading fees. You net out all the proceeds, less the grading fees, less the consignment fee. It's a great service. I don't publicly talk about it much. Like I don't have it on my website. I don't have it on my Instagram. I talk about it in live streams. I talk about it on Instagram stories occasionally because I don't want to get buried under that service. 5,000 cards in 1 week. That was a hefty week. I was a little bit buried that week, but we're booming, so I can deal with it. Steve says, first submission with you and Root, pumped. Let's see how bananas this market really is. He's dipping his toes into the CGC Fanatics grading service. That's one thing too. Since he said it, I'll talk about it. But when people consign with me, I've actually had people message me like, "Hey Dan, is that your card? Is that a consigner's card?" If it's my card, I will always tell you, yeah, that's my card. If it's a consigner's card, like, oh, whose is it? Is that XYZ's? I keep consigner information private, like unless you shield bid on your own items and Fanatics catches you and tells me and whatever. I guess I'd lose your anonymity if you're doing bad stuff. But yeah, all that stuff is always privileged. DMs are always DMs, all that stuff. But I'm going to continue starring. I'm so far behind in chat, but we are going to answer every question before we end tonight. Dan's going to feed us like a mama bird feeds its babies. Absolutely. Monday's video. Like, subscribe, stay tuned. I'm going to tell you, download this app. It's so much easier than 12 years ago. Try this, try that. Take notes. Keep track of what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. Keep a spreadsheet. You might have to keep a spreadsheet or two if you follow me. Follow my advice. If you allow yourself to be influenced by major influencer, Dan, why are you on a mission to save the Timmy's a man of the people? I'm starring every question. I will not miss your question. Do anything, simply do something. I'm just starring some of the funny things. Why does your beard have sideburns? it's so this is going soon. This is actually getting crazy. My hair has never been this long. Like my hair, my beard has never been this long. This is actually insane. We've had a couple 65-degree days in upstate New York. This is, if my wife's listening, she's going to be happy. She's probably going to text me and say, yes, please, tomorrow. This is going in the next 2 weeks, definitely. So maybe it has 2 more lives, but at most it has 2 more lives, I think. Question, what's your net worth? It is 7 figures, not 8 figures. Yeah, so I said in my video, when I said I did 9.3 million in sales, I told you that my net was 1 to 10%. And I know this is a meme question. I know this is Kai, but I'll say my net worth is between 1 and 10 million. It's somewhere in that range. I think that could be estimated by my Pokemon holdings and inventory and all that stuff, but it's between 1 and 10 million. And one thing I'll say too, like in the rant that I had in that video, I did 9.3 million in sales. I netted somewhere between 1 and 10%. At the end of the day, it's like, you as the viewer, does it actually make any difference? That's the kind of question that, like, most people wouldn't even tell you they're gross. Most people wouldn't tell you any portion of that. I'll tell you some amount that maybe hopefully can be inspirational, whatever, but at some point, getting so down into it. And to be fair, like, I follow some finance people that literally just show, here's my 401k balance, here's my IRA balance, here's the balances over time. And I enjoy that content. But to be honest too, like, it's hard. It's hard. I own a portion of a private company. And I know before somebody says in the chat, how do you value the partial ownership of Meta2? Some people in chat will say, oh, it's 0. That's easy. Just value at 0. But like, being serious, it's like putting a value on that, putting a value on my used vehicles, putting a value on my house is fairly arbitrary. Putting a value on a lot of different things that go into my net worth. Like, I couldn't even tell you plus or minus a few $100,000. I couldn't tell you, like, super close. But that's the extent to which I'll answer that question. But I appreciate you being here, Kai. Go check out Knockout Cards and Repacks on Instagram and YouTube and everywhere. Don't forget to encourage Earn to spill plays. Earn, feed us. We are baby birds. Feed your baby birds. Shout out Pokemon Go. Invest today. That's Earn's that's Earn's statement, not mine. Earn is the MVP. I'm starting more questions. I'm going to get to the bottom of chat, and then I'm going to go. I'm going to let her rip. Oh, man. Earn, my gift memberships were turned off. Could you gift another 50 so that I can get one? Hey, you miss every shot that you don't take, right? He's shooting his shot. We can't blame him for that. I guess me reading this comment is me shooting my shot too. Let's see if Earn obliges. Earn, stop spending away our podcast profits. Johto Jake, it was an advertisement, right? He didn't even ask for the shout out, but naturally, you give 50, your channel's getting shouted out, your podcast is getting shouting out. I'm going on full show mode. I forgot about the poll. So let your voice be heard. We have how many people in here? My YouTube says 13 people. Let me refresh it. 174 people in here, and we only have 80 votes. Let your voice be heard. At the top of the chat, there's a vote. Are you team Home Alone? Are you team Kevin? Or are you team Three Ninjas? Or are you team Rocky, Colt, and Tum Tum? Both very nostalgic 90s movies. Very great franchises. Three Ninjas sequels, not quite as good. Home Alone sequels, definitely a lot better than the Three Ninjas ones. But the OG, I'm going Three Ninjas personally. Vote on that, and then I'll be closing that soon. But yeah, continuing on, I'm starring. I am 20 minutes behind starring questions. And then once I star everything, I will start going through. Rocky loves Emily. These are the kinds of questions that I don't think it's a terrible question, but like, I just can't answer that. Giovanni SAR from 151 undervalued. Most things, most of the time, are like properly valued. Everyone in the market has some ideas of what's going to happen in the future. Everyone in the market is to some extent forward looking. And the price is the equilibration of supply and demand as of today. Certainly, things will double in short durations because they were underpriced in hindsight. But I'm just not the guy to tell you what's undervalued, overvalued. I guess more towards overvalued. There are certain things that when I have them, I'm just instantly auctioning, instantly selling. Continuing on. Three Ninjas is the best. Mom said I could stay up for one more hour. Love to see you here. It's all fake. We are juicing on a Wednesday. We are booming, yes. Martin says we're not booming until PSA 9 illustration rares are profitable. The Danism, just grade 10s. No 9s, no 9.5s. 10s, pristines only. I cannot believe Dan is ripping Juice Forces tonight. Yes, we are ripping Juice Forces tonight. I don't have that many. I'm sipping them very slowly on the live stream. I only have 4 to get me through this live stream. So it's not going to be a crazy one. I'm warming up for the upcoming festivities where all the guys that I mentioned earlier, plus Skya, TCG player guy, plus Java. He's another pack seller. He sells them in his physical store in oh man, what's the Wake Forest, North Carolina. If you're around there, check out Java's Cards and Collectibles. And then Nick, Old School Pokemon podcast partner, is going to be coming to a local show near me in Syracuse on April 11th. So I'm just warming up for the future festivities. I need to prepare myself. I think it's April 11th. Yeah, April 11th is the local show. A bunch of guys are going to be here. 9 of us in an Airbnb in a boom. We're probably going to send some live streams. We might send a couple YouTube live streams. Oh, I think I see a super chat. I don't have a question. I just like to cut in line, and Dan allows line jumping, so here I am. Dan Analytics is goated. I appreciate you, Zuko. Zuko just pushed back all the free-to-play players. Everyone just had a 45-second additional delay added to their question because of Zuko's action. I appreciate it. I'm almost-ish caught up on the starring the questions. I'm cycling through the old stock spat so that we will have fresh inventory, fresh off the line for PokeCon. Hamburger on bought a few singles from PK. They doubled by the time they arrived. You love to see it. Old Man Ketchum became a YouTube member. Appreciate it. Check out all your emojis in the chat there. Some fresh new ones. Parker, congrats on retirement. I see a lot of great questions. I see some bad questions. I see a lot of great questions. We're going to take them all. Mr. Mime is French. You got your gifted from either Earn or Steve at Tactical Trading. So go check out both those fine gentlemen. Zorny Poo is indeed a goat. Raising little Zorny to right. Kai, what's your net worth on a scale of 1 to 10? Dan, can you make Bierski go to Chicago, please? Bierski, go to Chicago or you're grounded. I don't know if I'm going to be Brad. He would say publicly that he doesn't want me at Chicago, but he really wants me at Chicago. Helga loves to be around Arnold. She's got a little shrine in her closet, as we know. But I don't know if I can swing Chicago personally 2 weeks after. Bierski will probably say the same thing. If he doesn't go, it will probably be because it's 2 weeks after PokeCon, which is going to be a week-long endeavor. Dan is the Dave Ramsey of the Pokemon community. Oh, no. Oh, no. I take that as an insult. Nothing against Dave either. I think Dave has his place. I think Dave is like, he's finances for people that are bad at finances, which is needed. Like, he's one of the biggest ones out there because most people, generally speaking, are like novices, beginners at finance. So you need Dave Ramsey. But like, I want to be the afford anything. I want to be the, oh man, I'm not even going to be able to think of all the different little podcasts and stuff that I watch. But I want to be someone way deep in the weeds, hyper optimizing, somebody with less than 10K, 20K subs like myself. I'm definitely not the Dave Ramsey of Pokemon. I have to push back on that. Peak That Shoe was born, Team Colt. You love to see it. I am continuing to scroll down. I'm almost caught up. Please don't ask your questions twice. I will notice and I will be upset when I get to your second one because I will get to all of them. Come hang in Chicago. Dave Ramsey, boo. Dave Ramsey's so outdated at this point. Caleb Hammer is probably a better fit at this point. Oh, no. Peak, you just made it worse. Don't call me the Caleb Hammer. I like to think that I help people. I guess, to be fair, when I get red light, I might get a little bit mean. I might go a little bit dark, a little bit Caleb Hammer. I try to not be, though. I try to be more constructive. I try to be more helpful. The money guys. If someone called me the money guys, I said it first now. No one's going to call me the money guys now. It's not going to count because I already said it. But if someone called me the money guys, oh, man. Like, that would be it. Those guys. What are their names? Bo and I can't even think of the other guy's name, but they're so good. They're so good. They're like Caleb Hammer is the Jerry Springer of the financial help space. His is more entertainment than actually helping people. Some people surely probably get help to some extent, but if I had to say, and maybe I'm calling some people out here, I think the average Caleb Hammer viewer it's partially lost porn. Like these people are so bad with their finances. It's like Wall Street bets. I just want to see people who are destroying themselves financially. So it's partially the entertainment value of that. And then the other part of it is like, I want to feel better about how bad my finances are by seeing other people's bad finances. That's a little bit of overlap between those two ideas. But I think that's like that's the general idea of what the average Caleb Hammer viewer is, I think. And there's so many of them. He's such a big channel. But yeah, like not for me. I watched some of them years ago. If a Pokemon one comes up, I go watch it. But yeah, Caleb Hammer, nah. Poke Profit dropping 5 Canadian. Should I buy Shrouded Fable ETBs or Pokemon Go ETBs? My budget's $50, and I think both are incredibly undervalued. Poke Profit. If you only have $50, you need to take that $50. I don't know what the casinos are like in Canada, but hopefully you have some. Go put it on the green 0 on roulette. In the United States, at least, that pays 35-1. Get you some real money to work with. Just win. Don't lose. 50 times 35, 1750. Now you buy both. Porque no los dos. Buy both. Hit the green 0. Buy both. I mean, hit the green 0 a few times in a row. You'll be a millionaire. That's all you got to do. Everyone's 3 minutes away from being a millionaire, as long as your table has proper limits. I'm almost caught up with chat. Dear Lord, you are not Caleb Hammer. Thank you. Thank you very much. This is like the opposite. Caleb is fun. Not yucking yums, but he's not for me. I think I kind of did yuck yums. I was thinking Grant Cardone. I've heard the name. I think he's one of those like gurus that sells a course. And so I've actually watched some Alex Hormozy. I've actually watched a little bit of who's the guy, the V Friends, Gary V. I've watched a little bit of Gary V. I've watched a little bit of Alex Hormozy. I've watched some of those guys, but I know of Grant Cardone, but I've never watched his stuff, I don't think. So I don't know how I feel about that. Chat, let me know. Is Grant Cardone a good one or is that a bad one? I feel like it's a bad one. The money guys are solid indeed. So I'm so far behind in chat. This is gonna be dark. I have 33 questions starred. I am abandoning live chat. I still have live chat over here, but Brad, I said a few times in a row. You got to hit it like the third time would be 1,000,000. So I think I said a few times in a row. Brad, go clip it. Go call me out. 3 times in a row from 50. Let's see. 50 times 35 times 35 times 35. $2.14 million. 3 spins of a wheel. You have $2 million now. Taxes, after taxes, almost $1 million. 50% tax. But anyways, I am going back to the top of chat. I have 33 starred questions. I have a live chat that is probably going to outpace my ability to answer questions. We have 200 live viewers between the portrait mode and the landscape mode and the portrait mode. Cheers. If you're out there enjoying a beverage, let me know what beverage you are enjoying. Oh, three of the starred questions are actually just super chats. How do you take action when everything is above MSRP and you don't have access to distro? How do you make money? Honest question. So last year, I spent several $1 million. If I told you how many dollars I spent exactly, I told you how much I sold, you would be able to figure out how much I made. I spent several $1 million. You know how much I spent at distro? Less than $1 million. My distro allocations were less than $1 million, and I spent millions. Distro was only a fraction of what I bought. How do you buy? You make a name. You make a brand for yourself, and you buy through your viewers. You buy like this. I'm buying right now. DM me. Reach out. This is how you buy. You buy like this, like I'm doing right now. You go into Discords. Just today, in my Discord of 300 plus people or 200 plus people, in my Discord tonight, I spent $40,000 on 2 slab lots. That's how you buy. I could have spent $200,000 today if I wanted to. eBay, Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Craigslist still exists, I think. There's so many ways to spend money. Go vend a local show. Go to your LGS. So many ways to spend money. It's harder. Like, if people want me to say it's harder, that's an Alex Hormozy thing. Kind of like the Henry Ford thing that I talked about earlier. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right. Alex Hormozy, I listened to him, one of his videos before, and he's like, I get into a call with somebody and they say, you know what, Alex, you know what? It's so hard to buy. I don't have distro. I can't do anything. 12 years ago, Dan and other guys, they would buy stuff at a fraction of what it is today. A guy can't just, he just can't run a business today in this market. And Alex would be like, okay, give up then. Like, exit out of the stream, give up. And again, like, I'll take a comment and then I'll remove myself from the comment. I took it off the screen. I'm not talking to the commenter anymore. I'm talking to the idea. So many people have a victim mentality. So many people have a very defeatist attitude. If you think you can't do it, you are correct. You cannot do it. So how do I buy in a market like this? I grind. And some of it, to be fair, I grinded over the past 12 years. You can't replicate that today. You can't replicate my 20,000 hours I have behind me. You can't replicate that today. But those 2 slab lots that I bought in my Discord today, they were posted in front of everybody. There were 200 plus people in the Discord that I bought those things from. I paid up. I'm taking a risk. Known fixed downside, infinite upside. Those slabs might double in 10 days. They might drop 50%, but do the math. What are the odds they drop 50%? What are the odds they stay flat? What are the odds they go up 10%, 50%, 100%? What are the odds they 10x? Very, very low. But do the math. Attribute a percentage to each outcome. If it's plus EV, if you have the means and blah, 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 I'm YOLOing it. I'm bullish. People call me bearish because they don't know what they're doing. But yeah, let me I'm making sure I don't have any other questions to star. Question, CGC Fanatics, is there such a thing as too many duplicates per submission? So when you send to CGC Fanatics, I'm going to take this off the screen so I can talk about it in a second here. But if you send CGC Fanatics, one thing that you have to know, it's right in the rules. Please, people, please, 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 please. I know it takes 60 seconds. I know we're booming. Please read the whole thing. So if you send me 50 of the same card, if you send me 100 of the same card, you can do it, but they have to be auctioned in 2 weeks. Do the math. If you send 100, you will be auctioning 50 a week. We're booming. I think the market can bear it for most cards. I think you'll be fine. But like, just know that whatever you send, it's being auctioned in 2 weeks max. If you have 50 and you only want to auction 5 a week max, I'll help you out. Get your calculators out. Send 10 a week. My minimum is 50, so find other cards to send with it. Send 10 a week. 2 weeks later, send 10 more. 2 weeks later, send 10 more. It's a little lumpy. First in, first out is not a thing. Consistently inconsistent like all the other grading companies. So like if you send 2 this week, or 10 this week, 10 in 2 weeks, 10 in 2 weeks, there might be a week where 4 hit. And now you're stuck sending 10 per week instead of 5 per week. So just know all those things. And then we're booming. We're booming. Peak says I'm drinking Tup's juice pack. I don't think I've ever had that. What's a better booster box to sell? Brilliant Stars or Destined Rivals trying to move money to more Pokemon. So me personally, I have both. I have let me end the poll too. Home Alone won 60-40. Not surprising. Actually, it kind of is surprising. Home Alone having only 60% of the vote. I thought Three Ninjas was a deeper cut than that. But I guess maybe I just got the Three Ninja following. But I love to see that. But anyways, am I selling Destined Rivals or Brilliant Stars? I have both. I have a $48,000 collection I'm going to buy tomorrow. Local meetup. They're coming to me. And I have a $40,000 collection that just came in the mail to me the other day. Lots of loose Destined Rivals boxes. Selling all of them. Tune into PK in 10 days. Tune into Ponga whenever. Like, tune into everybody whenever. Go check out Sealed Cheers Consignments. Josh is going to get some of those Destined Rivals boxes. And you know what I'm not doing? With my, well, to be fair, I'm not doing with either my Brilliant Stars cases or my Destined Rivals cases. But in the past 6 months, I have added Brilliant Stars to certain mid to long-term holdings. I don't think I added any to the palette. I could be wrong. But I definitely added some to like palette adjacent, where I'm going to hold them for a couple years at least, or a few months, couple years. Not really sure exactly. But I personally would sell the Destined first. Does that mean Brilliant will outperform over a month, over a year, over a decade, over a century? No, it's just where I'm putting my money. You should make your own decision. But that is what I'm doing with my own money. And why I'm doing it? Because the odds of Brilliant being reprinted, functionally 0. The odds of Destined being reprinted, quite high in my... Destined is actually actively being reprinted, just not in booster boxes. Will they slip them into booster boxes tomorrow? I have no clue. But yeah, go. I see Josh in chat. He's got the GD. He's got the Glizzy Gang, the Diglett. Definitely go check out Josh Sealed Cheers Consignments. He excels right now. He just teamed up with Retro, actually, another close friend in the hobby. He got teamed up with Nick. Love to see people teaming up, powering up. You've got Old School over there with Thrifty and Walrus. You've got me and all the independent contractors. You've got Sealed Shiz and Ray, Shining Cards and Collectibles, getting his team up on over there with Retro. You love to see it going on. James has got his empire being built there. Cam moved on to his future endeavors. But it's crazy. It's crazy what everyone is doing. I'm so proud of what everyone is doing in this boom. And there's definitely some people that will look back and wish they had done more for sure. As I said in the title, the time to take action is now. The best time to take action was 20 days ago, 20 weeks ago, 20 months ago. But the second best time is today, right now. But yeah, Sealed Cheers Consignments, he excels under 1,000. DC Sports, I usually go to over 1,000. I've sent Josh a couple things over 1,000. I've sent DC a couple things under 1,000 just to kind of test them out. But at least if you go fee structure alone, Josh below 1,000, DC above 1,000 is at least how I balance it, generally speaking. There's a discussion to be had about the global economic impact of AI in politics. This is one thing Maybe it will lead me down a rant session an hour later in the chat once I catch up. But I'm an hour behind chat, 55 minutes behind chat as I speak. I think, and I could be wrong. There's a law. So I'm going to Google this so I can tell you what the law is. We underestimate tech in short term, and then we overestimate it. We overestimate it in the short term, and then we underestimate it in the long term. That law is called Amara's Law. Amara's Law. I don't know how to pronounce it, but we have a tendency to overestimate the effect of a technology in the very short term, but over the long term, we way underappreciate it, undervalue it. There were people 20, 30 years ago, AOL dial-up, Netscape, and all the different original online stuff. There were people way underestimating the effect of the internet. Internet is ubiquitous today, obviously. It took a while to come around, but like it is there now. And AI, I truly think, Knockout Cards and Repacks says, I still think the internet is a fad. Get out while you can. I think in my lifetime, or at least in my children's lifetime, I think there will almost be like an iRobot-esque. Shout out to another great movie. I think that one's more like 2000s. I don't think that's from the 90s, but 2000 movie, iRobot. I think we will have an iRobot-esque future. Hopefully not with the whole, what was her name? My logic is undeniable. What was her name? Was it Vicky? Vicky iRobot? And then Sunny was the other robot. Yeah, Vicky. I forget what it stands for. She was the central AI antagonist, virtual interactive kinetic intelligence. Hopefully we don't get the whole Vicky ending, or at least Sunny saves us. Spoilers, sorry. But I think that there will be a future in the next 50 years, maybe 100 years, where 80 to 90% of first world countries' populations literally don't have jobs. I think that we will have such vast productivity gains through AI, through automation, through robotics. I think we will have such drastic productive gains that most people won't have anything productive to do in their life. So you know what my strategy is for our AI future? I'm going to sell shiny cardboard to rich people. That is how I will survive this future where 90% of people are unemployed. Politically, societally, socioeconomically, like that could get so dark. If 90% of people aren't needed in the workforce, can't find a way to produce to help towards society, that could get dark. But I'm going to be here. I'm going to be financially independent through selling shiny cardboard to the 10% and the 1% and the 0.1%. That's my strategy over the long term. Maybe that's a little bit too deep. Maybe that's a little bit too dark. But I truly think the next 50 years, hopefully I will see it all. But I think the next 50 years is going to get think 30 years ago. I remember 30 years ago. Mom, are you guys done on the phone for tonight? I got to unplug and I got to plug in the computer. I got to go hop on AOL. I got to go hop on talk to all my 6th grade buddies. It's crazy how far we've come. I still remember the landline phone number that of some of my close friends in school growing up. Before the phone cord was allowed to be unplugged and plugged into the computer, I would just call my buddy and, hey, what did you do in did you beat the Elite Four yet? Are you working on Blaine's gym? Like, have you made it through the Rock Tunnel? Where are we at in Pokemon Yellow? Where are we at in Pokemon Red? Whatever one you're playing. That's a very different world from where we are today in so many ways. And 20 years from now, 30 years, 50 years, I think there's a lot of crazy stuff coming. Let's get back to the Pokemon questions, though. I have 48 live comments that I haven't addressed yet. Hopefully not too many questions, but maybe some in there. What are the bear markets like? There isn't much data out there. Liquidating most of my portfolio over the next few months and plan to re-enter over the coming years if prices are attractive. This isn't even just bear markets. 18 months ago, you could buy every recent box. Every box that was less than a year old, you could buy for $100 or less. I'm not talking ETBs. We're not talking practice. Ascended Heroes ETBs, Prismatic Evolutions ETBs, all these things are above 100. You could buy every booster box in the past year, SV1 through SV5, for under $100. 18 months ago. That wasn't even a bear market. That was just like, that was a less booming market. We've been booming straight since 2020, 2021. Some people will say the bubble popped, the boom stopped, we busted. To some extent, parts of the market did. But like, trust me, we've been booming since 2020 to 2026. Know your goals. Know how much your living expenses are. Know your buckets. Where's my OBS? I have so many tabs here right now. But know your finances, know your requirements, know your burn rate on your capital. I wasn't full-time 10 years ago, but in 2016, had I quit my job, I wouldn't have, because in 2016 as an engineer, I probably made 65 grand a year or something, and benefits and yada yada. Young guy looking to start a family, and the stability of the engineering job was something that I needed. 10 years ago, if I quit my job to sell Pokemon cards full time, me and my wife, no kids yet, I could have gotten by. In 2016, ironically, was a boom too. Let's go to 2015. 2015, I could have quit my job and we could have gotten by being full-time Pokemon me. I probably could have made 50, 60, 70 grand a year grinding, working 80, 90-hour weeks. I was an engineer making 60 grand a year, 65 grand a year in 40 to 50 hours a week. I was doing Pokemon on the side for 20, 30 hours a week, making 20 grand a year net, maybe. Not a whole lot. Like I was probably making $10 an hour, $20 an hour on average, which I was happy to do. I loved it. It was a hobby. It was a passion. It was a joy. I was a collector boy, Dan. I wasn't being the most efficient with my capital. I was largely collecting. From 2014 to 2019, I didn't make good hourly wages. Then 2020 happened. Boom, 20x everything. My average historical hourly rate went from 15, 20, 25 bucks an hour to like $100 an hour, 150, whatever it was. I don't remember the exact numbers. But the bear markets are significantly slower. If you, and I'm going to use the C word, if you've built a community, if you have some kind of a following and we go to a downturn, a lot of people will leave, but so will a lot of your competition. So if you're doing business on buying at a percentage and selling at a higher percentage, that's sustainable. Every business in the world, Walmart buys low, sells high. The gas station buys low, sells high. They buy wholesale, sell retail. That is a tried and true business model for millennia, for many centuries at least. Maybe millennia is overselling it. Hunter-gatherer societies and all those different things. But if your entire business is going to Costco in scalping, you're gone. You're done. In a boom, your entire business model falls apart. If your entire business is acting off these again having distro, and you have distro, you pay $100.60 for your perfect order booster box, and then you just dump it on the market at $200, $250, whatever the hell it is when it comes out. That's not a sustainable business model. It's stupid. For the past 14, 16 months, you've been able to just print free money like Pokemon is, like PSA is, like all of them are. We're in the in crowd now, I guess. But that's not a model. Of the 30 years of Pokemon's history, 27 of them or more have been like distro's 100. Distro used to be 80. Distro's 80. Well, somebody else pays 70 too. And you know what? They pay less eBay fees. They pay less USPS fees. They pay less UPS fees. So, you're paying $82.50 on your boxes, Dan, at Catch 'em All Collectibles. Football Pete, he's paying 72. He pays 5%, 3%, 2% eBay fees. He pays half what you pay to USPS and UPS. He's selling them for $87.99, $84.99 shipped on eBay. That's what a not boom looks like. Is there no money to be made? No. Do you have to work harder to make it? Yes. We are in easy mode. If you look around, I can't find stuff to buy. I don't know how to sell. I don't know what to do. Dan, hold my hand. Force feed the fish down my throat. Because your video Monday, it wasn't enough. If you're lost right now, I can't find you. No one is going to find you. That's a little bit harsh. That's a little bit mean. I almost should have turned the lights red there. But maybe we'll get there later tonight. We're only just getting started. But I kind of try to be a little bit harsh, a little bit mean, a little bit more Caleb Hammery, because some people need to hear it. Some people get coddled too much in life. Some people need someone to be mean to them. so that they can wake up. James, if we had gifts, I would be so bullish on YouTube if they gave us the gift chat that we have in Discord. What's the rooster's name in like Looney Tunes or whatever? Why can't I think of his name? The wake up meme where he takes the dog, Foghorn Leghorn. He takes the dog by the tail. He smacks him with a 2x4. Wake up! The dog's in the doghouse. He's smacking him. So I'm playing the Foghorn Leghorn gif right now. People need to wake up. Some people need to wake up. So me being a little bit mean, me going a little bit Caleb Hammer on some people, and to be fair, Caleb Hammer would say the same thing. Caleb Hammer would say, you know what? I'm doing the Foghorn Leghorn. I'm spanking them on the butt a little bit. They need to get their rear in gear. So I'm kicking them in it. We're booming. I feel confident in my ability. My business has been running since 2014. I am confident in my ability, in my team's ability to sustain in a down market. But a lot of people out here, they will not be able to. A lot of people will go when the margins go, for sure. We took that one. What's the best Voodoo Ranger flavor? I'm a big Imperial IPA fan, but sometimes the fruit flavors just hit. I am so bad at ranking things. Some of my favorites. So this is Tropic Force. Juice Force is a good one. Probably Juice Force is probably the best. But other beers that I drink, I'm local. Utica, New York, I'm local too. It's only a little ways away. And Saranac beers. I'm a big fan of Saranac beers, supporting the local brewery. Schultz and Dooley came from the Utica Club Brewery, the Saranac Brewery. And I drink Juice Bombs, Juice Bomb, Juicier Bomb. I drink a little bit of everything. I don't have a very refined palate. IPA is good generally. Profit from selling inventory is taxed as regular business income up to 37%, regardless of how long it is held. Only capital assets like stock or equipment qualify. In some of your videos, you mentioned holding certain cases long enough so that they're subject to capital gains tax. Talking with my accountant and the Google. Holding business inventory for more than 1 year does not qualify for long-term capital gains tax rates. Inventory is considered ordinary income property. So this is one thing that I will say. I'll say two different things. So addressing the first part, if your accountant think there's no way, and let me start even higher. I'm going to start at 30,000 feet, and I'm going to come down, and I'm gonna crash land in this question. Very, very like coarse responses to this question. Profit from selling inventory is taxed as regular business income. Not always. If your accountant thinks that everything you make as a business has to be taxed as regular business income, up to 37%. Well, I guess taxes are very nuanced and there's a lot to it. But S corporation makes it so that you remove the FICA portion. I guess I started to get riled up, and I'm like, oh wait, pump the brakes. He didn't even say FICA taxes. But if you're an S corp, you get around the FICA taxes. You pay yourself a salary, you pay FICA on the salary, and then you get a distribution for the remainder. Peak says careful. So S corp is something to look into to get rid of the FICA portion, which wasn't mentioned here. This is where there's multiple layers to this. I'm going to be careful, as Peak has warned me, but there's multiple layers. So one thing, IRS taxes. They're not entirely black or white. They're not entirely binary. If I did my taxes through 50 tax preparers, I would probably have 10 to 20 different amounts that I owe. Like, it's crazy to say. It's crazy to hear that. Maybe not 10 to 20. Maybe 2 to 10. But there's another way, too. Frozen Shadow talks about cash versus accrual. You can be cash basis. You can kick the can down the road. That's a way to pay zero, basically, by just putting it back into inventory. But there are certain accountants that have made certain interpretations of the IRS tax code where if you buy, for example, a trophy Pikachu card, theoretically, this is all hypothetical, this is all theoretical. If you were to have purchased a trophy Pikachu at some time for $20,000, and then you, theoretically, a friend that you know, were to sell that card for $100,000, there are certain accountants that would classify that as an investment vehicle, an investment item, as a capital asset. I don't know how. I don't ask questions. I tell the accountants what I do. You should tell your accountants what you do, and you should say, help me avoid legally taxes as much as possible. So you're saying one accountant's one interpretation. I will tell you, one accountant somewhere in the United States is the worst accountant in the country. One of them is terrible at their job. They should not have passed their college exams. They should not have been certified. They should not be being an accountant. There's a saying. I think James said this. He said, what do they call the guy who got last place, who graduated last in his medical field, in his medical field class? They call him doctor. So there are some accountants out there, and I'm not saying yours, but there are some that don't know what in the hell they're doing. There are people that will tell you completely incorrect things. I've done consults with people who say that, like, you can't do things that you definitely can do. I've done accountants with people who their accountants don't know what S-corps are. Maybe they're specialized towards something else. Like, I don't know. But a lot of it, more than you would expect, is in the gray area. More of it's up for interpretation than you would expect. And I know of many people whose accountants have taken significantly more aggressive stances on that. 2 layers again. Collectibles, I believe 28% on collectibles. So that's one avenue. Collectibles being capital gains tax of 28%. And then if you wanted to get crazier, maybe you could even tax something as a corporate investment asset. Maybe you could even look into doing long-term capital gains or whatever. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things there. I'm going to stop while I'm probably already behind. But I'm not an accountant. Go consult your accountant. Don't listen to what I say about me and my accountant's relationship. Don't listen to what the commenter said about their accountant and their relationship. Find one for you. Consult with multiple. Some experts suck at their jobs. Find good ones that will go to bat for you. Find good ones that will be taking aggressive stances for you and being willing and ready to defend them as well. Thoughts on the current printing policy being based on future projected demands in a weak macroeconomy due to impact of AI and geopolitical instability? I've mentioned it a million times. I put my energy and focus where I have control. Earlier today, I locked down a deal. I'm driving to tomorrow to buy a $60,000 collection for $48,000. I'm buying a collection for $48,000. In my mind, I'm thinking this is going to PK for his mega stream in 10 days. This is going to Ponga for here. This is going to Steel Trees Consignments. This is going to DC Sports. This is going to Cam at Golden. This is going to Fanatics. That is what my mind is doing. Things that actually I control, things that actually make me money. Questions like this, they're intellectually interesting and stimulating and whatever, but I have no clue. Basically, the premise of this, if I'm understanding correctly, is Pokemon printing less because they're scared of a market crash. My pushback to that idea, they're investing hundreds of millions of dollars in 1 million+ square feet of new warehouse facility space, printing space. So, like, I don't think so. If you were to turn your Pokemon collection into a home, and homes are about $1 million nowadays, how much in Pokemon would you want to have in value before you start liquidating to buy one? Just curious. I would need way more than how much you have in Pokemon. I would need your 401ks and IRAs, and at least for me, any one of these questions, personal finance is so personal. I did turn my, so let me take it the way that it was asked. I'll flip it on its head. I'll answer it a different way. I'm a highly transparent person. I bought my house for, I won't say exactly, because then you could probably you could probably look up things and you could probably end up finding me easier. But I paid in the mid-high ones for my house. I put 50 grand into it, approximately, fixing it up because it was a short sale and it needed a bunch of work. My house is probably worth 300 or 400 grand, maybe more than that. I don't know, and I don't care because I'm not selling it anytime soon. But in 2020, I closed on my house in late 2019, and less than a year later, I paid off my house. I owed upper mid, I owed about 150. I owed about 150 because I had to put 20% down. I owed about 150 on my house. My net worth was low 7 figures, and I had a low 7-figure net worth, very, 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 very low. I had low six figures in my retirement accounts. I was making 80,000 a year as an engineer. My wife was making 50,000 a year as a teacher. So like I'm giving you my entire financial picture, and I was about to quit my job to go full-time Pokemon. So you know what I did? I sold, and one thing people don't like realize, people don't know how taxes work. It blows my mind, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying some people. But like to pay off 150,000 on my house, I had to sell like 250,000 worth of stuff, and then I had to pay a lot of taxes. So maybe I had to sell 200 or 210 or 220, 250. Everyone's situation is different. Again, I wasn't yet an S Corp, which was a big boo-boo. That hurt me. Over 10 grand in additional taxes I paid that I didn't have to. So yeah, there's a lot there. But I told you when and why and how I paid off my house. I cannot give advice as how anyone else should do theirs. I'll just tell you what I did and why, as always. Another one. Should I unload 65K worth of sealed and start buying and selling collections, or just sit on these ladies another 5 years? I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I wish that I could answer better, but like I just don't know your situation. Again, like one generality, I'll zoom out. So I'll take your question off the screen, but I'll answer it basically. If you are restricted by cash flow in this boom, and you have 65K of product, and you have opportunity to buy things low and then sell them high, and buy them low and sell them high. You don't have the capital, but you have the time, and you have an investment. I think so many people make the mistake of investing too much too early, and they don't have money to do business. It's like, oh yeah, you've got an Evolving Skies box that doubled or 5x or 10x or whatever the hell it did. Who cares? But like, you haven't had money to do business, and you've had time. You've been sitting around on your hands doing nothing because you have no cash flow. So like, I think a lot of people handicap themselves by having too much inventory, too much investment, and not enough cash flow for turning. But same way, like some people are doctors and lawyers that make $500,000 a year that want to put 1 hour a week into Pokemon. They don't want to flip. They want to sit on their hands. They like when they're not in the office, when they're not in the operating room, whatever. So everyone's situation is different. What are the grading criteria for CGC compared to PSA, and would multiple of the same cards sell while using your CGC Fanatics consignment? I'm a terrible salesman. Go check out Fanatics. Go check out sold listings. I have sold 30 of the same card in the same grade in 1 week on Fanatics before, and they all did perfectly fine. I made money. I did well. I was happy. But like, go do your own due diligence. Go check it out. CGC, generally speaking, is harder on centering to an extent, and then they're softer on surface to an extent, but they're harder to get the pristine, the highest grade. They're a little bit easier to get the Gem 10. So like, if you think your card will 9 at PSA, but it will 10 at CGC, it's probably going to be better at CGC. Another thing is not touching it. I know the PSA Vault exists, so you can do it with PSA as well, but not touching the cards is something like, if my margin shrinks, but my time shrinks even further than my margin does, that's good business. I make good money doing that. So I'm going to go back from the start. I'm down to 15 starred questions, and I have 97 unaddressed comments. I'm going to go star some more questions, and then I will jump back. Oh, I did get a super chat too. A CPA that doesn't know what an S Corp is like a surgeon that doesn't know what the operating table is. So here, I love you, James. James is probably sleeping. He probably won't come back and watch this, but maybe someone out there, maybe someone will be kind enough to clip James and clip this and send it to James. 4 years ago, maybe we had James on PokeFlips podcast. Even the other day we were talking in Discord, and we've talked with him recently on PokeFlips. He in a boom, he's paying sales tax on items intended for resale on eBay. He used to be an accountant as his profession. So like, James used to be an accountant, and he's been paying taxes on items intended for resale. That's how hard we're booming. He's paying taxes on items intended for resale, and he's still making money. We are so booming in many ways. I think we're so early. Pokemon is investing hundreds of millions of dollars in an additional 1 million plus square feet of production capacity space. Would they do that if they think we weren't early? No, like, and they're smarter than me. They have more insight than we do. They have more insight than all of your favorite PokeTubers do. Even knockout cards and repacks. They know more than Kai of knockout cards and repacks. So yeah, I appreciate the super chat on that one. I'm gonna start more questions. Gary V's the master of saying words and saying absolutely nothing at the same time, like my video Monday. I think I said a lot, but I didn't say a lot depending on the way you take it. Spat said, I don't want to be Grant Cardone. Most things I've heard are generally negative towards Grant Cardone, like guru-y, scammer. Yeah. I'm starting more things. We got Peak drinking a Tupps juice pack. We got DC from the EV drinking 195 proof grain alcohol. Oh man, he's going for it. He's going in. I'm gonna put that one on the screen and not rate it, but that's hilarious. Dan, what's your daily Zell limit? Zell is so weird. So my Zell limit to some people is 7,500. My Zell limit to some people is 1,000. My Zell limit to some people is 5,000. There are like buckets. There are like pools of people. So if I send $2,000 to one guy who has a $5,000 limit, another guy that has a $5,000 limit, I can only send him $3 now because it comes out of the same pool. There are some people though that have a $5,000 limit. If I send this guy $2K with a $5K limit, I can still send this guy $2K or sorry, $5K with a $5K limit. So some people's pools interact. Some people's pools don't interact. I have sent like 45 grand in one day on Zelle. Some of those to 7,500 limits, some of those to 5,000 limits, so like some of those to all different limits. But sometimes the limits attack each other and sometimes they don't. I don't understand Zelle whatsoever. Cash Grabber is what I miss a lot. I am 34 minutes behind right now, highlighting the new questions. Dan, we are booming, and I'm trying all outlets physically possible with my bankroll. When my wife leaves me, I'm blaming you. Thanks. That's why I always say, like, be very cautious and know your life situation, know your relationship, set your boundaries. Like, always need to be very careful of all that. But this is a dark thing to say, but it's late. We're having some beers amongst friends. I'm going to take the comment off the screen because I'm not talking to you. I know you a little bit. I don't know your situation or your marriage. But some people divorce is very plus EV. That's all I'll say. That is not financial advice. That's not marital advice. I know for me, divorce is not even in the cards whatsoever. Intentional pun. That would be very negative EV. That is not my situation, but some people's situation. Divorce is plus EV. That's all I'm saying. I'm going to end it there. Kai says I'm telling my wife. I don't know you. I don't know your wife. I've met Kai, so I kind of know Kai, but I don't know his wife. Continuing on from there, you gotta have some fun, right? We're booming. You gotta have some fun amongst friends. You hyped up 3 ninjas. That's why I got 40%. So Brad's calling me an influencer. Brad's saying that I influenced the polls. He's saying that it was rigged. He wants a revote. Let's see. Kai hopes AI replaces ZNG. Oh, man. Where I was talking about AOL. And as always, if you can put question in caps in front of your question, if you can put a stop sign emoji, all those good things, it helps me find your question better. I do my best. We got the foghorn, leghorn, foghorn assist here. Dan's PG compared to Caleb Hammer Collectibles. Wait, you guys are making margins. Yeah, people literally invested millions of dollars in monkey NFTs and all these different things in the Web 3.0 and buying digital property, and maybe they were too early, and maybe that stuff will still boom someday, and this will age poorly. But markets can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent, and that goes both ways. That goes the way that like bankrupts you and ruins you. That also goes the way that makes you rich beyond your wildest dreams. There are cards today in the boom that Like we could be so early. We could be in the next 3 months, 6 months, we could 10x again. The market is so small that like Bitcoin can probably not reasonably 100x from where it is today in the next 2 years, right? Bitcoin has a market cap of trillions. Can Bitcoin go to 100 trillion? Probably not. Pokemon though, Pokemon is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Pokemon's the low billions. Pokemon could theoretically 10x, 50x, 100x. It's so tiny, relatively speaking, to like the big markets, relative to sports cards, relative to like fine art, things like that. It like there are many things that could 100x. We could be that early. It also could be flat. It also could be stagnant. It also could drop 50% in the next few years. Continuing on down, starring more questions. What did we do to deserve another Catch 'em All Collectibles live stream? You survived another week. So every subsequent week that you and I guess I survive, we will be blessed simultaneously with each other's presence in the mode of a Catch 'em All Collectibles live stream. I think most people that I've talked with anecdotally, most people are better served with cash basis. But like I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole right now. That accountant's dad probably has more destined rivals than yours. I don't know of any dads. I've not met a dad yet. I've not heard of a dad yet that has more destined rivals than my dad. And my dad only has 2 cases of destined rivals. My dad has 2 cases of destined rivals. I have 2 cases on the pallet, half the pallet, and then I have like 12 loose boxes from a collection that I bought the other day. Starring more things. Yeah, every day there are professionals. There are engineers that build bridges that fail, that fall. I was listening to some video the other day. There was some skyscraper in New York City where like they accounted for the wind hitting a building face, a skyscraper face, like head on from every direction, but they didn't account for wind hitting the skyscraper at an angle. And basically there was a skyscraper in New York City that it didn't have the proper amount of welds and bolts and whatever on all the structural steel in the higher up levels. So there was like a several month period where like on the DL, they were going into the walls and they were rebolting and re-welding all the structural steel, all the girders and all that stuff in a skyscraper. Basically at any time it could have like had there been a hurricane force winds or whatever, like things that they were supposed to prepare for within the margin of safety. A literal skyscraper was built in a massive city that could have caused untold destruction and loss of life and limb and all that stuff. There are experts all over the place. And that wasn't one guy. That was teams of engineers and teams of people and teams of sign-offs by the city and all the different things. Like it's you need to not only consult professionals, you need to ensure of their competency and you need to check their work. It's crazy. There are CPAs every year that some intentionally misfile people's taxes. And if and when that gets discovered, you can't just say like, oh, my accountant did it wrong. And then the IRS is like, oh yeah, like you're good. We're going to throw them in jail. We're going to take them away and you're fine. Like you're going to owe penalties. You're going to owe interest. So like you need to trust, but verify to some extent for sure. I don't disclose who my accountant is. I think they're fine at their job. They're always behind though. They're very much banker energy. They're buying out a lot of local firms to me and they're just constantly behind. I sent my accountant an email yesterday. I probably won't get a reply. I'd have to call in and talk to somebody, yuck, if I wanted to get a reply, which is just annoying. Let's see. I'm trying to start all the questions. Some people are not putting questions at the start, so it's a little harder to identify. Tracy Hills, who would answer this? Peak, I started. I'm going to answer it. Stay tuned. I'm going to answer it. Why would I not answer that, Peak? I'm definitely going to answer that. Yeah, Tracy, keep the questions coming. I will answer any and all questions. Yeah, James is crazy. He pays sales tax on items intended for resale. I'm scrolling down. I love this After Dark, Dan. Appreciate you all being here. I'm almost caught up to starting questions. I'm 29 started questions behind. I probably start at peak. I probably start it. It's probably in the backlog. I have a 30 starred question backlog. I see somebody asking the same question twice. I'm going to get to it, but now I've started twice, slowing us down, slowing everyone's answer down. Okay, here we go. And as always, so we're booming. Time is valuable. I do consults one-on-one, $300 an hour, $200 a half an hour. I also do the Patreon. I'm going to link the Patreon right now because we're booming. If you want your questions answered on demand, if you want to have your question answered first, I sold nearly 8 figures last year through all avenues. I will sell. I will guarantee an 8-figure total GMV this year. That's going to happen. The Patreon is there. $10 a month. It's linked in the chat. Can I pin it? I'm going to pin the Patreon. Will it not let me pin it? It's not letting me pin it. If a mod can pin it, I don't know if they can pin or not. But the Patreon's there. $10 a month. You get access to me tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be live in office hours in Discord. I'm going to answer every question you guys ask. Here right now, I'm answering every question you ask. The first question that I have starred, Peak, it's yours. I see the stop sign. Your question is the next one. So you did use stop sign. I'm there. So Peak asked this question an hour and 2 minutes ago. If you value your time, if you value your sanity, a 99-cent super chat will put you to the front of the line. We will shame Peak That Chew together. I will hide his comment. I won't unstart it. I'll still get to it. But you will skip Peak That Chew right now if you super chat. 99 cents is all it takes. And you will jump to the head of the line. And we're booming. Time is valuable. Peak That Chew asked this over an hour ago, and I'm only just now answering. What AI use makes you most excited? Price research, content ideas, trending gaps research, raw to graded price upside reports, or something else for the card space. So I talked about this in a live stream recently. It's above my depth. I don't think I can do it. But Peak, you're the AI guy. If I think of AI, I think of Peak. So I want something that will look at my screen. I want to show it my screen. In a perfect world, I want to feed it my credit card. That would violate TOS probably. But I want to have 9 streams on my screen. I want to have a nano box. What's it called? Red Zone, the Octo box. I want to have a nano box. I want to have 3x3 streams, Whatnot, Fanatics Live, eBay Live. I want it to scan with AI technology, whether it uses card uploader or misprint or of card ladder. I want it to scan the slab on the screen. So somebody auctions this Persian. Hey guys, we got this Persian dollar auction. I want my AI to scan my screen 9 streams at once. Here's a slab. Within the slab, right next to the bid button, this slab is $97. I don't know what the slab is. I just bought it on Misprint. Shout out to them, Misprint. Ava's got a good thing going on over there. I know the CEO, CFO, COO, whatever she is. I know her well. But when a slab comes on screen, I want it to comp it off card ladder, and I wanted to put it right next to the bid button. I wanted to tell me what 80% of market is, 85% of market, whatever number I put in, and I want to be able to put the bid in based off my AI automatically fetching the price. Is that AI? Is that just computational? Whatever. I don't know. I don't care. But use AI to build it, whatever. I wanted to do it 9 things at a time. That would be amazing. Another use for that, when PK goes live, like PK is live right now, I believe. What is it? It's Wednesday night. PK is live right now. When PK runs a stream, I want to be able to have a window open, and I've sat there and I've manually comped the stream. I've paid people to manually comp a stream just for like data use. I want to have an AI that puts a thing over the screen, and every time a slab comes up, card letter, what it sold for, and what we got. What it sold for and what it's worth. And then at the end of a 3-hour stream, I get a report spit out, a CSV. You sold 103 items. You sold at an average of 82.6% of market. Your slabs were 93.1% of market. Your singles were 72% of market. Your singles from 1 to 5 were 120% of market. Your singles from 5 to 50 we're 50% of market. Like, we have the technology. We literally do. I just don't know how to plug it all together. Help me, ChatGPT, help me Claude, help me OpenClaw, help me all these things. Help me Peak. I will pay someone. Like, my DMs are open. Catchemallcollectibles@gmail.com. Catchemallcollectibles on Discord. Catchemallcollectibles on Instagram. I will pay you many, many, many thousands of dollars. If that takes you an hour to do, I will stand by my word and I will pay you thousands of dollars. The amount of time that'll save me, I will pay you many thousands of dollars. Maybe that takes 100 hours. Maybe that takes 1,000 hours. I don't know. If it does, though, if you can do that, reach out to me. My DMs are open. I want to give you a lot of money. Like, I don't want to like talk myself up. I don't want to bid myself up if somebody can do that in 2 hours. But like, if there was a buy it now button on my screen right now, buy that technology for $50,000, I would have a long, hard thought over whether or not I click that buy button, because that would be disgustingly valuable. Comping all my own auctions, and then if I wanted to, I could literally just sit there on my second screen, have 9 screens. Oh, there's a slab with $1,000 card letter that somebody YOLO'd at a dollar auction. I'll bid $800. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. We got I got to jump to the live chat for this. Pre-boom member Greeny, 36 months. Appreciate you. Yes, it would be so much more wise to do that as a membership feature, but I would pay a lot of money for that. And the technology exists. It's just a matter of like, if somebody can put it together. We're booming. That's like kind of a pipe dream. I don't think that is like really feasible, at least for me to do right now. It would take me 50 hours to screw around it and not get anywhere close probably. So I'm not trying right now, but like that is my dream scenario right now as of today. I have trouble competing against vendors who don't do it by the books, whether that's not collecting sales tax or not reporting their income. Any tips to keep my margin high while playing by the rules? Oh no. I'm not going to tell you to be a snitch because Brad's probably listening. Brad just one up Greeny. He said he's a member for 38 months. But Brad's going to say snitches get stitches, and I'm not going to tell you to rat out other people. But like, there will be people that lie, cheat, and steal and do all the bad things. But that's part of why I don't vend, to be honest. Vending above board is very cumbersome. It's very difficult. Physical nexus, economic nexus. There's so many layers there. I don't know what to tell you. Do it to whatever extent you're comfortable. Do it in a way that works for you. But just know that the vast majority of vendors are doing it way below board. The vast majority of people are not claiming all their Zells, not claiming all their friends and family. They're not doing things right. Let me take that one. So I don't know what to tell you. I guess one thing I'll tell you, there are people doing it right that are still making money. If you're selling to a streamer, so if at the end of the day you're taking a buyout, if you're selling to me, I don't need to be charged sales tax. I can give you my W-9, or I think it's the W-9. What's the sales tax exempt form? Sales tax exempt form. Is it a W-9? Or is that the one for withholdings? I mix up the forms a lot. I'm not an accountant. Yeah. Oh, no. So no, that's to report your TIN. That's what I gave. So I gave a W-9 to my independent contractors to report their TIN. But what is the form? Form IRS for showing sales tax exempt. What is that form called? Every state it's different. In New York, it's an ST-119. E-595E in North Carolina. So if you're selling to me and you want it, I will give you my ST-119. I will give you my EIN. I will give you my business name. I'll give you my business address, all that stuff. And that's where B2B is the way to be. That is a large part of why I don't engage with the end consumer very frequently at all. It's a massive headache. So What should I be buying right now? Working with the I can't afford low pop PSA 10 bricks budget. Are you collecting? Are you flipping? Are you like, I don't know. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. I need more information. I can't answer this. Buy low, sell high. If you don't have the time to do that, buy what brings you joy. Like, there's so many answers to that. What's your end goal, Dan? You've made more than enough to live comfortably from the outside looking in. Is it to build a legacy business? So the way that I describe this always is that my kids are young. My daughter still has over 10 years of primary education. Like, legally, she has 10 years of education. If she chooses to go to college, she has 15, 20 years maybe. Who knows? So while my wife are at school, what am I going to do? Am I going to go max a RuneScape account? Am I going to go, like, I guess I could get more fit. I guess I could max a RuneScape account. I could just screw around, but it's more rewarding to me in a lot of ways to grind out the business. And while they're at school, while they're like doing what they're doing, I'm gonna do this. And enough does exist. So I went a few weeks ago to a water park for a week. I took a week off, and the streamers are all set up doing their thing. I answered some messages. I gave CGC Fanatic submission numbers, all that stuff. But my foot is off the gas. My foot is very much off the gas. If I was 15, 20 years ago in this boom, I would be working 100-hour weeks. I'm working 40, 50-hour weeks most weeks. Some weeks, absolutely, when needed, I'm working 60, 70-hour weeks. But I haven't worked a 90-hour week in a very long time. And I'll probably never work a 90-hour week again. I'll probably never work a 70 or 80-hour week again. Probably 50, 60 is my cap. So I'm already like, I'm not like trying to become a billionaire. I'm not trying to like build a massive legacy. If I had something that like my kids were interested in and could take over, absolutely, I would do that. But I'm years away. I'm years away from even knowing if my kids will have any interest at all. But my end goal is like financial independence, taking care of my family. I would love, like, at the end of my life, hopefully 50 plus years from now, I would love to be able to leave millions of dollars to my heirs, to my children and grandchildren, potentially, if I have them. I would love to leave millions of dollars to causes that I care about. I would love to be able to have a fisherman's fund, maybe one of my alma maters, maybe to my college alma mater, my high school alma mater, have some kind of a personal finance type financial award for people who, when I graduated high school, there were different funds set up by people that graduated 50 years prior, and they donated funds that went into $100 every year to a kid that shows prowess in this or that, $500, $1,000, $5,000 to a kid who does XYZ. I don't know, but to be able to do something like that, or to be able to enable, like maybe 50 years from now, maybe one of my kids, like shout out to Ricky, shout out to Uyama's Trading. He mentioned his end goal is like fostering animals. I love animals. Am I going to be the one to foster 50 different animals and see them all move on and to other people? And I would love parts of that. I would hate parts of that. I would hate having to like send them to the new place. But if I knew someone directly, I don't think Oyama needs help from me. But if I like, my daughter might have that passion when she grows up. My son might have that passion when he grows up. If I see something in my future where I just have the ability to help someone help others and leave that kind of a legacy, I would love to have the opportunity to do that. I would very much love. And then on top of that, having all the just financial security, having all the like being able to sleep well at night because of not being on the brink of financial disaster at all times. That's my goal. And I'm there. I'm like not on the brink of financial disaster. And 600 card CGC submission coming back in 2 weeks. Do you think auctions for non-TCG cards are still the play in this market? Tops on card ass. A lot of those things do very well on Fanatics. If you have the ones that especially the higher end ones, the Fanatics consignments there, if you're interested, I auction everything. I'm not holding any slabs of any kind, barring a few like personal collection pieces, long-term inventory, whatever you want to call it. I've got my Quaxley, that's PC. I've got some silly PC cards behind me. I've got one of the 400 gray felt hats there. That's a long-term inventory card. But yeah, I generally sell slabs, and I don't have, as of today, as we speak, I guess, so one exception. I probably have on Fanatics a $10 buy it now listing for like a CGC 4 whatever. Aside from a couple grading failures that didn't get a $5 bet on Fanatics, I have 0 buy it now slab listings. And I don't intend to have any anytime soon. So if I had those slabs, auction on Fanatics all day. Easy. Without thinking about it. We're booming. Best packaging tips to ship raw cards to your vault before grading. So what I do is my sister, actually, another independent contractor, added to the ranks. So I use Beckett card sleeves. If you take Beckett card sleeves, you can actually fit 50 penny sleeved cards in a Beckett card sleeve. And then once you get that, I do the old tried and true. So I do 50 penny sleeved cards in here. I put it inside of this this folded over cardboard thing. It doesn't fold that flat with 50 cards, but I go into this, and then I go into a small box. I get tons of shipments from like Misprint. I put 50 cards in like a 6x4x2 or whatever this is. So I usually ship 100 cards, 200 cards every Monday. I've done a couple times to catch up. I've done I've literally shipped where's one? I don't no, I do have one. So here's a 1,000 count storage box. I've literally taken a 1,000 count storage box and put a label on it. I've shipped one of these full of like, it's 1,000 count if you don't have penny sleeves. So it's like 500 or 600 cards. I forget what, but I've shipped one of these with a label on it for my CGC Fanatics. That's literally how hard I've degened some of my submissions. But usually I'll take 2 or 3 of these and put them in a box. And I've shipped, I think the biggest single submission I've done to my CGC Fanatics was 1,500 cards. I think the biggest any consigner's done. And if they wanted to name themselves, they can name themselves. But again, I don't share consignor information. But there are some multiple consigners that have done 1,000 cards at once. And I don't see it. It goes to my vault. They grade it. I don't see how people ship to the vault, but I would kind of be curious to see. Someday I'm going to visit the vault, and I'll ask them, like, hey, what's landed today? Like, I want to see what it looks like when people send stuff. That would be interesting to see. Question, will you run my LLC? No. There's a quick one. With no plans of really retiring, what are you planning to spend your money on after you are empty nesting, excluding travel and experiences? So great timing. I already answered the question. So if you were here 3 minutes ago, I am due for another beer. But if you were listening 3 minutes ago, I love that I am not like a super car guy. I love that I'm not a super like consumerist guy. I guess I'm wearing by my metrics a very expensive t-shirt right now. I'm wearing a Nashville. You can tell that the Pikachu is like he's falling apart because this thing has been washed and dried so many times. But this is like a $20 t-shirt from Nashville Worlds in 2018. We live like we make our savings rate is 75% plus. Like it's so much higher than that, but I realize, so in a few weeks I'm going to tell you what my household spending is. I'm good at math. If I tell you exactly what my household spending is for the year, and then I tell you exactly what my savings rate is, you can figure out exactly what my household's net financial income is, right? So I can't share exactly, but my savings rate as a household is well in excess of 75%. So I love that I don't overly value consumer things. Such an ironic thing to say with this background, right? I got a little sweat there. We're booming. I got a little sweat going on there. Heating up in here, and I don't even have the lights red. But ironic thing to say with this background, I bought all the Lego sets. I bought all that stuff. Shout out to Bierski. He was doing a stream earlier, assembling one of the Lego sets. But I'm not keeping up with the Joneses, to be clear, but I'm intentionally inflating the lifestyle to some extent. I know my wife, like, and myself included, not just my wife. We like to go out to eat. We like to travel. So I know you said excluding travel and things like that, but experiences. But I'm not gonna go first class on a plane. Probably, maybe I will someday. Who knows? Who knows? I'm a big guy, but partially we're inflating our lifestyle. A couple years ago, I made a household expenses video, and we spent like 60 grand for the year. Spoilers a little bit. Let me pull up my Simplify quick. I'm not gonna share it to you guys, but I'll tell you roughly. We spent over 70. So we've inflated our spending over 20% because it's like we're doing very well. We're booming. The business subsidizes so many things. A lot of my personal vehicles are hand-me-downs from my business. My business buys a new vehicle. My business runs it a few years, and then my personal household basically the way it works. You buy a new vehicle, you depreciate it year over year. So like personally, I don't buy it from the business. My business just ceases depreciating it. So my personal household inherits a vehicle that has been depreciated down to like $10,000. So I'm able to buy brand new vehicles in my household in a very efficient way due to having a business. Like being a former W-2 income, if you want to buy a brand new $80,000 pickup truck, $100,000 pickup truck to drive 5 miles to your office job and never put anything in the bed, I'm speaking directly to some of my former coworkers. You buy that with after-tax money. I do it efficiently. I buy it with pre-tax money through the business. I accelerated depreciate it. I run that vehicle for few years in the business. I depreciate the hell out of it. And then I buy a new one with the business, and my personal household gets the other one. So I'm inflating my lifestyle to some extent, but beyond that, we spent, let me go to my reports quick. We spent roughly 70-ish thousand, a little bit more actually. Stay tuned for the future video. We spent a little bit over 70,000 last year. If I were to spend 100, my life wouldn't be any better really. Like I already financed a brand new S26 or S28 or whatever the hell this thing is, S25. We travel as much as is feasible and reasonable with the young kids that we have. I could see 5 years from now spending 120 grand a year potentially. If I'm still making and saving 80+%, I just changed the number. I just got closer to what we're actually doing. But if we continue saving 75+%, I could see a scenario where we inflate our lifestyle to 120 grand a year, especially when we have teenagers. Especially when we have teenagers who we might fly across the country with over the summer. My summers, if the kids are into it, might get very, very expensive in the future. I'm all for it. My wife's all for it. If the kids are into it, like we might significantly inflate our lifestyle. So it'll be a combination of significantly inflating our lifestyle, significantly still being like, I know single individuals with no kids who spend 200 grand a year. So like significantly inflating is relative. But and then potentially the legacy thing that I mentioned about donating to important causes. And then there's other long-term ideas, but I guess that's plenty. I think I already spent 10 minutes on that question. I appreciate the question. It's a good one. Sir, sell 13K 151 collection or 17K collection of everything else in this crazy market. 30K is my estimated collection according to the collector. Probably going to check TCG and eBay for pricing, but yeah. I'm a fence sitter in many regards. Realistically, what would I do? I'd probably sell half of the 151 and half of the not 151. That so many times, like you don't have to do the extreme in either regard. Usually the answer is in the gray. Is it 80% 151, 20% non-151? It all depends, but I'd be somewhere in the middle, almost always. Do we think Rudy's knocking on the door of a billionaire? So there's that saying. So how long ago was a million seconds? And then how long ago was a billion seconds? I've heard this on Reddit or something, but a million seconds ago was 11.5 days ago. And a billion seconds ago, like I don't think people appreciate how much more? 1,000 times, we know, most people know, add 3 zeros 1,000 times. Add a comma, James, ZNG, add a comma, add zeros. A lot of people can understand that it's 3 zeros, it's a comma. But like a million seconds ago was 11.5 days ago, 11 and a half days ago. A billion seconds ago was 31.7 years ago. And then we're here. Why not do a trillion? And then a trillion seconds. We're obviously not talking about trillionaire, but there are companies out there in the world that are worth $1 trillion. There are some individuals with nearly a net worth of $1 trillion. A trillion seconds ago was 32,000 years ago. Absolutely insane. So what I'm doing to demonstrate that, I don't think Rudy's very close to a billionaire. One thing in Pokemon, if you like, I could 10x my net worth in a day in Pokemon. Let me let it sit. Let me let it marinate. If my net worth was $10, some people in this chat, I'm not even trying to be mean. Some people probably have X amount of debt and they have a little bit of assets, and there are probably people in this chat with pretty near zero net worth. In a day, there are people that can 10x their net worth in Pokemon. I can't. I have a 7-figure net worth. Rudy definitely has an 8-figure net worth. Just by what he shows, just by what we see. 8-figure, 9-figure wouldn't overly shock me. But like if I had to guess, Rudy's probably well into the 8 figures, 10 to 99 million. I wouldn't think he's worth 100 million. But what I'm trying to demonstrate is like when you're worth $10, $1,000, $100,000 in a span of a week, a month, a year, a couple of years, you can multiply your net worth very, very easily, relatively speaking. When you're in the millions and the tens of millions and the hundreds of millions, it's so much harder. Like, go buy $50 million worth of Destined Rivals. Go buy all TCG Player, go buy all of eBay. That's an upcoming video that I haven't done yet, but I'm going to do it at some point soon. When people talk about institutional money in Pokemon, Nat Turner is institutional money in Pokemon. Chris Camillo is institutional money in Pokemon. Let me know in chat if you know who Chris Camillo is. Shout out to the Iced Coffee Hour podcast. There is institutional money in Pokemon, but not the way you think. No one's going to come in and buy $100 million of Perfect Order. It doesn't exist. It doesn't work that way. I'm going to make a video on that. I don't want to spoil the whole thing, but I don't think Rudy is that close to a billionaire status, really. Danny, you still believing that Prismatic and other recent sets will be below MSRP, or is that ship sailed? Every day that passes, my percentage odds go down, but I know there's some chance. But I told you a year ago, I told you Prismatic, what did I tell you? 90, 95%? Coin flip, maybe. Coin flip. So Dan, how do you think it's that high? Guaranteed it's not. Could be, but Prismatic could be in print for 2.5 more years if Pokemon wanted to. 1 million plus square feet. They can print Prismatic in the new facility if they wanted to. There could be a recession, a depression. The stock market could drop 50%. Crazy things could happen that could cause Prismatic to go down. And in the time since I said that, Prismatic has come. It's come down a lot. Not the ETBs. I've never said that ETBs are going to MSRP. I've never said any specific SKU. I've always said the loose packs. I've always said I think the loose packs someday. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Chris Camillo is literally and figuratively dumb money. Being on the Iced Coffee Hour would be amazing. I've actually met Graham Stephan. I met Graham Stephan at Pokemon Saves the World. Again, talking about Chris Camillo. So if you hadn't watched it, go check out Twice Baked Jake and RoboSkills podcast. The what do they call that? I've watched every single one, and I can't remember what they call it. Yeah. Anyways, they had Gary King Pokemon on today, and he talked about Chris Camillo. He gave him a base set first edition booster box to donate towards autism charity, all the things that all the causes that are meaningful to Gary. So yeah, Card Lounge. Yes, thank you, Gangsta Mind. Very much enjoy that podcast. I've been invited to be on there. I need to set up a time to go to Vegas someday. Vegas Collecticon is happening this year, and it's Father's Day weekend. Again, priorities, boundaries. I have a Cub Scout trip with my son. Even if I didn't have a Cub Scout trip with my son on Father's Day weekend, it's Father's Day weekend. I have a dad. My wife has a dad. We always do family things. I'm going to go to my dad's. I'm going to go. So the Father's Day weekend trip, I think we go like Friday and I get back midday Father's Day. I'll probably have lunch with my father-in-law. I'll probably have dinner with my father. But yeah, so that's just something I can't do. But anyways, are you still believing that Prismatic and other recent sets? So I think the packs, I think many of these packs will eventually go under MSRP, but I think that less than I did a year ago. I think that less than I did 6 months ago. The percentage is dropping. Absolutely. There's a decent chance, increasing chance that I lose the bet to retro, but I'm never going to say never. And a lot of people are saying never. A lot of people are guaranteeing. One thing I will guarantee, some set someday will go below MSRP. Like that's, some people would push back on that, and that blows my mind. What are you purchasing right now? Everything. Today in my Discord, I bought 40 grand in alt art slabs and Chinese slabs and all different kinds of slabs. Tomorrow, I'm doing a $48,000 purchase. I don't want to dox the collector app name, but let me see if I can find it in a way. Did I not post? Are you kidding me? I was doing an Instagram post and I didn't post it. I'm posting it now. I've been live for 2 hours and I just posted it. But yeah, let me check my DMs. I'm meeting up with a guy tomorrow. Let me see if I can show some of his collector. I guess I can just read what's in his collector app. But it's a $60,000 collector app, and I'm buying it at 80%. Complete cash out. It's going to be a cashier's check, no 1099, not advocating for anything, all that stuff. But it's slabs. It's slabs. It's 151 ETB. It's PC ETBs, I think. It's Destined Rivals booster box. It's Paldea Evolve booster box. It's Blooming Waters collections. It's Mega Evolutions Enhanced booster boxes. I am buying everything all the time to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. If not, some months I might spend $1 million. You talk about security with cameras in both DIY and companies. Can you be more specific of how you started with that versus now? There are so many. A few live streams ago, there's Simply Safe, there's ADT, there's if I start naming them and can't think of top DIY security systems, I listed them all off a while ago. But yeah, search Top Cove. There's Vivint, there's Brinks, there's Guardian, there's Xfinity. There's so many out there. In 2026, how people don't get an alert when somebody's at their doorbell, I don't know how that's a thing. Like maybe the surveillance state and the Illuminati is watching me through my doorbell camera, and I don't want that. If you have a smartphone and you don't have a doorbell camera, what are you doing? This thing is listening always. So if it's the whole angle of like, I don't want the Illuminati, I don't want Zuckerberg and Bezos and whoever listening to me, they already are. If you're watching this live stream, if you're watching later on, if I clip this and it's on TikTok, if you're engaging with this content as I speak it, they're already listening. So get a doorbell camera, get a security system of some kind, a few $100s, and you can protect yourself. Not impenetrable, not perfect, but like something. Not sure if you've addressed this, but what are your thoughts on the recent One Piece boom and subsequent correction? How do you think it could impact the Pokemon market, if at all? Nick and I, old school Pokemon, in PokeFlips last Thursday, we talked about it a little bit. I don't monitor One Piece closely, but like that's the way things go. Like a lot of gains, 2014 to 2019, most of my inventory, most of my collection went up pretty healthy, pretty steady. Some things that I bought in 2014 were multiples higher in 2019, but then 2020 hit and things 10x, 20x. A lot of times the way things will go. Hidden Fates ETBs. A few years ago, Hidden Fates ETBs had spent years flat, 150, 200, whatever they were. 151 was available for an entire summer 2 years ago at wholesale, at retail for the Costco boxes. And then it takes an elevator up. and it stays there for a while, and then it takes an elevator up. That's just the way these things work for a while, quite a while. But the One Piece thing wasn't sustainable. The Pokemon thing today, the rate of increase is not sustainable on many of these cards, and at some point, some of them will correct. It's an inevitability. You talked about buying collections, selling to get your initial capital back, and then keeping the rest in profits, items you believe in. Do you still recommend this in the boom or better snowball? So I addressed this in my video on Monday and a video 2 weeks ago, I believe, too. In hindsight, I was a collector at the time. I was a side hustling collector at the time. I don't regret what I did, but in hindsight, I could have outperformed had I kept everything snowballing. What is your situation? I don't know you. I cannot advise. But what I did was I collected and I snowballed. I would have done better if I'd only snowballed, but I enjoyed what I did as I did it. It was sustainable. It avoided burnout. I did it as a side hustle. I don't regret what I did. So what you should do, that's up to you. Am I destined to think AI is going to just restructure, change demand in job market? I don't see how work goes to zero, but change will be pretty widespread. So I didn't say zero. I said 90% of people, 80%, 90% of people losing their jobs if and when they make humanoid robots. I think there will be a future in the next 50 years where 80 to 90% of the United States population does not have something productive to do. You will walk down the street, you will see a humanoid robot, a la iRobot, delivering mail. You will see them doing like relatively repetitive, relatively low expertise jobs or whatever. AI will replace a lot of the corporate office job type people. I could be wrong though. Again, I might be falling victim to Amira's law. I might be overestimating what we can do in 50 years. Maybe it'll take 500. Maybe in 200, 300, 500, it'll be even way more than I can imagine. But it's fun to think about. Like my current field getting mostly Thanos snap, but I'm sure other areas of need will arise. Yeah, that's the thing. There will be some amount of need. But in iRobot, the robots built the robots. The robots designed the new robots. Like all that stuff. Vicky, she got a little wild out there. But we'll see what happens. Question, Dan, is your buying strategy changing because of the war or how the price of gas that can affect the market? No, not really at all. Again, I worry about things that I can control, and I can't control what's going on with all that. That is, we're not going to comment too much on that. But no, I forget when that even started. I don't pay attention that much to mainstream media type happenings. But business as usual for me, for sure. But I understand the underlying risks. So in the back of my mind, the underlying risks of a World War III scenario, of an S&P 500 dropping 50%, a recession, depression, increase that a little bit, in my opinion. Dan, how do you go about managing taxes, your money from all these different streams of income and like buying collections from random people on Insta? How do you document? Go on my channel and search taxes. I have made 10 plus videos in the past on taxes. I have showed you exactly what I send to my accountant, the exact report that I send to my accountant. I do my own personal bookkeeping, but I have a CPA for doing my actual putting the numbers in the right forms and stuff. So it's all out there. I can't touch on that today. Google Sheets, though, does everything. That's what I don't understand about people in Pokemon, like vending and buying out collections and then selling them individually. How do you manage profit margin for taxes? I've made tons of videos. Go check out Delucci CPA. Just search Delucci, Dilucci. There's a woman, I forget her first name. Great tax videos. Not Your Dad CPA. Great tax videos. Go check out those. Search my channel for taxes. Add a bunch of them to your watch later and binge them tomorrow. And you'll be better for it, in my opinion. Have your options changed on your first video regarding brick and mortar versus online only Pokemon businesses? Do you believe it would be easier to source with a brick and mortar? I've mentioned before, never say never. There's a scenario where I could theoretically be affiliated with a brick and mortar store. Here's an interesting bit. There's a store local to me that was in operation from 1999 to 2025. I spoke with the old owner at a local show on Saturday. I gave him my business card. I gave him my number. I would not be running it. I don't want the ball and chain. That's going backwards in freedom level. But if someone were local to me that had the drive that I could trust. If someone wanted to run an LGS, but first floor it's an LGS, second floor it's play space, third floor theoretically could be like living space. It could be some people's dream scenario. It's not my dream scenario, but it could be some people's. I could see potentially using some capital to help get somebody running in an LGS. And I like to think what my independent contractors do for me, amazing. Like it's a win-win scenario, very much on both sides. But I'm definitely providing to several people a very lucrative opportunity, a very lucrative independent contractor relationship, or a potentially very lucrative consignment relationship through various means. I love that. And there is a future where I am owner, co-owner of some brick and mortar establishment, that I am the capital, the sourcing, the inventory. I visit once a month. I visit once a couple times a quarter. Never say never. We'll see. We'll see. That would be a lot, but like that would be really cool to be a part of that. And I would get some benefits. I would get some additional allocations that I could funnel into the live streams, but they would get allocations that they would put into their thing and build the community and meet more people, engage with more people on a local scale. Maybe my kids want to get into playing the game, the TCG on the local scale. Like there are so many angles to that that could be potentially very fortuitous. So never say never. Have your opinions changed on having a brick and mortar versus online only for your business? I think this was actually at the same time. Maybe it was a glitch or whatever. Would you consider an addition with new market conditions? As I just said, anything and everything could be considered. I have a question. Just bought a 151 Ultra Premium Collection box, and seller said it was mint. It has 2 tiny scratches on the outer sleeve, even though it's put into an acrylic. Am I okay? So I am your easiest buyer. I don't care about micro little things. Will someone else care? So this is the way that it goes. Many people don't care, but some do. So does it matter? 100% yes. If anyone cares, your liquidity goes down. How many people care? How much does your liquidity go down? How much does your price go down? It depends on the severity. But like the whole strong 10 versus weak 10, I have blind sold 10s based on cert alone. I have blind sold 10s that were 8s in 10 cases that got lucky and the buyer didn't care. Someday they might though. So it can't help you. It can only hurt you. So it's not good. But to what extent is it not good? Anyone's guess. Question, best way to snowball as a vendor? Buy low, sell high. Repeat. Buy low, sell high. Buy low, sell high. Depending on where you live, depending on your local scene, everyone's situation is going to be different. Some people should have more raw than they have. Some people should have more slabs than they have. Some people should have more sealed than they have. Some people aren't doing it, and they should, I'm not quick enough on the buttons, they should consign through Catch 'em All Collectibles, CGC Fanatics, consignment service. Vending, generally speaking, only happens Saturday and Sunday. What are you doing Monday to Friday? Maybe it's a job, maybe 9 to 5, but there's a lot of things you can do Monday to Friday to help your Saturday and Sunday. I'm a Rudy style buy and hold guy since Vivid Voltage because pokey gains are so big. Poke's a way bigger percent of my full portfolio than I'd like. Rebalance or no? I can't tell you whether or not to do that. Have I rebalanced in the past? Yes. I sold off a bunch of Pokemon and paid off my house, rebalancing higher into real estate. I've sold a bunch every year, and I maxed out my 401k and IRA. Every year, I'm constantly rebalancing some extent into traditional markets. But what should you do? Your risk tolerance, your finances, your responsibility. I can't answer that for you. What are your thoughts on e-reader PSA reverse non-10s going up or down moving forward? Generally speaking, I think 10s have always been way too high relative to 9s. I've always been a guy who sees way more value in 9s. That's me, one guy, my opinion. That does not mean the market will ever agree with me. Right now, what's happening? The 10s are running further from the 9s. So if I said that a few years ago, I generally speaking today would have been wrong. So I could be wrong in the next 50 years on that. I've been wrong on things in the past. But like I don't value the third-party opinion that much. I don't value one white dot that much. I'm going through some slabs on my desk right now. Like me as a collector, look at this Persian, look at this Relicanth. The Persian's a 9, the Relicanth's a 10. From the front at arm's length, you can't tell by the card alone. Maybe the centering. I hate off-center cards. I want a clean centering. I want a clean front. At arm's length, I want to be able to look and say, that's a clean card. If you have to turn it over and see a white dot, do I think that's worth going from 100 to 500? Do I think that's worth going from 5,000 to 50,000? Hell no. Ponchos, do I think it's worth going from a PSA 10 20 grand to, well, Mario's Pikachu. PSA 10 is $34,000. There's a black label offer out there for $750,000. Do I think it's worth that? No, not whatsoever. Like for potentially one white dot, the first black label Mario Pikachu, if there ever is one, might be worse than some of the PSA 10s. These graders suck at their jobs, consistently inconsistent, blah, blah, blah. I'm always going to buy the lower grade in more quantity. If you give me, say the ratio between 10 and 9 is 2x, 5x, 10x, 20x. Give me an equal value of 9s and 10s. Many times, the best condition card for what I care about is in the 9 pile, not the 10 pile. I'm going to keep going. Do you report / document all the Zelle cash deals? Can you explain your process? Yes, I claim all my business dealings. Absolutely. It's very easy. So I'm going to open up my, you must not have watched my video that I made a while ago. So here's my annual Catch 'em All Collectibles tax summary. I'm not going to share it, but so I made a video the other day that I received $9.3 million in my accounts. I was only 1099 for, wait for it, where'd it go? I was only 1099 for, there's one. I was only 1099 for $7.7 million. So $1.5 million approximately. Is that right? That seems high. Yeah, right here. I claimed on my taxes $630,000 of private sales for which there was no 1099 generated. I claimed, oh, that's another 1099. So my 1099s were higher. I consigned between Z&G and Seal Chiz and Voldemort and DC Sports. I consigned $400,000 with those consignment services. So between them and private sales, that's over $1 million right there. Additionally, yeah, there's another $300,000 in direct bank wires, Zelle, ACH. So my report to my account, why don't I share it? Let me just share it. So I need to be careful here. If I click on the wrong tab, you will know exactly how much money I make. I need to be careful to not do that. But oops, there's the wrong button. But I guess it's the wrong button to hit. If I'm gonna hit a wrong button, I'd rather hit that wrong button. But let me do this. So let me. There's a couple things I want to hide. I just don't want you to know the make and the model and the mileage of my my vehicles. But this is the entire document that I share with my accountant. I share with them. This is blank. Obviously, I deleted it out. At the bottom, you can see the different years but I shared how much advertising and promotion, how much meals and entertainment, how much banking, credit card fees, office supplies, professional and legal fees, phone and internet expenses, vehicle insurance, parking tolls. I'm not going to read everything, but down at the bottom, eBay, 1099 attached, direct bank wires, Zelle, ACH. I don't get a 1099. I sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of wholesale packs. Check out my website. I sold so many things through Z&G Emporium, Seal Chiz, DC Sports. I don't get a 1099 for that. But you legally have to report all of that. If and when you ever got audited, not reporting that is not tax avoidance. It is tax evasion. You could go to jail. You could go to jail. If you pay the penalties in ignorance, if you lie and claim ignorance when you were actually intentionally evading taxes, I'm not going to end up in jail over taxes. I pay. This is one thing that Scott Pratt said recently in his Patreon. I said it before him. I said it in my video a couple weeks ago. In 2025, I paid more in taxes than I earned gross as a chemical engineer in 2020, my final year full year as a chemical engineer. So I pay a lot of taxes. I pay a lot of them. When you consign with me, if you consign with me cards that you paid 10 grand for and they sell for 100 grand net, you have a $90,000 net taxable gain. You're supposed to report that. Am I going to send any document to the IRS that says that you made 90 grand? No, I can't. I don't know what you paid for it. I'm not even going to send a document to the IRS that says what I paid you because I legally don't have to. Do the minimum legal requirement, as you should. But you're supposed to report that. Many people don't. Just like we talked about earlier, the vendors not doing the right thing above board, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. I'm not going to, people do what they do. But I'm comfortable with what I do. You should be comfortable with what you do. If you consign with me, I'm going to presume that you're reporting it all. But if and when you're not, like, don't ask, don't tell, is my opinion on it. Would you hold shadowless hollow PSA 10s now or hold till later this year? I sell all my slabs, always. The only slabs that I'm holding long-term on speculation are a couple of CGC 10 trophy cards that I bought recently. So personally, I would sell. What you should do, I don't know your situation. I'm not advising you to do that. How do you go about properly documenting collection buyouts and then selling them individually? I'm buying a 60,000 collector value. I'm paying $48,000 tomorrow. I at the end of the year, January 1st, December 31st, I do a total value. I do a total value on my inventory. I reach out to Ponga and PK. Give me a quick inventory. I reach out to Skya, Java. Give me a quick inventory of what you have. I pretty much know fairly well what percentage I pay. I know where I'm at, but there's a lot of estimations. Do I go on my desk and I say, here's an Evolving Skies pack that I paid $17.32 for. And then this, let me see one that I have more than one of. So this Phantasmal Flame I got from Distro and I paid $3 for. And this Phantasmal Flame I bought on my buy list and I paid $6 for. Do I do that? No. I say I have 10,000 Phantasmal Flames packs and I paid roughly X amount of dollars on average for them. There's definitely some estimations that go in there. Consult with your accountant. Like, I don't mean to be mean. I'm going to remove the question from the thing. But like the fact that you're asking that question, talk to an accountant. Talk to an accountant, please. You asked this question twice. I always get to all the questions. Sometimes I do miss them, to be fair. But I had to cover that one. Just bought 151 premium collection. So, oh, you asked this question twice too. You guys just wasted a minute. You guys just made everybody in line have to wait an extra minute because you asked twice. Dan, can you crush that cannon in your head? No. Brad is a member for 38 months, which I already did. Oh no, 24 minutes ago, I missed the super chat. I need to go back to the live chat. I need to star all the questions. So there's Brad being a member for 38 months. I need to star everything right now. I'm 45 minutes behind chat. We're booming. Damn, Brad's been a hater for over 3 years. Dedication. He's the best hater. There is a... Where is it? Did it fall? I think it fell. There's a gray felt hat up near that creepy UC guy that he signed because I beat him in basketball. So Brad calls it snitching. I am a victim of a crime. I was crimed by Voldemort. I'm not going to say his name. My personal details were leaked through snipe.com. It was not disclosed to me. I guess on the phone call it was, but many people's personal details were leaked through snipe.com. It was not disclosed as legally required. And like, see, nobody cares. I hate it. I hate it. Nobody cares. But Brad's the guy who, like, if you're the victim of a crime and you report it, he'll call you a snitch. Like, getting way dark, getting way into the weeds. As Peak said a couple minutes ago, I said the more beers, the more financial transparency, the more out there I get too. But like, there are people that come up in very dark circumstances. There are people that watch people around them, their friends, their family, their neighbors, do heinous things, and they're like raised on a, oh, don't be a snitch. Like, that is so dark. I don't even know why I'm bringing that up. But like Brad saying, Dan, you're a victim of a crime, but if you tell anyone, you're snitching. That is so dark. Brad's just memeing. I shouldn't go that deep with it. I shouldn't get that dark with it. But I did it like 3 months ago on a live stream when Snipe was happening, and I'm doing it again right now. But yes, if you're a victim of a crime, please report the criminal for the crime they committed. What are we talking about, Brad? What are we talking about? Yeah, many people are not doing things above board, but if so, I buy from people all the time to a very high level. Most people don't ask me for a reseller certificate. Most people don't ask me for the ST120, whatever the hell it is. But if and when they do, I supply it. Absolutely. A 90-hour week should be illegal. So I think one of my better traits, and right now I'm absolutely failing when it comes to health and wellness and fitness, and I need to get back on that. But one of my better traits is my consistency, is my grind. I'm doing it less now, but to be fair to me, like I'm not necessarily grinding less. I'm just grinding out family. I'm grinding out fulfillment. I'm grinding out that kind of stuff instead. But back in high school, I used to oh man, they might be here too. There are books. I think they're in this cabinet. They're in the cabinet right next to me, I think. There are books from when I used to work with my dad. There's all my old taxes from like 10 years ago. Let me see if I can find one. I can go back to like 2008. I have the old work logs that I used to keep track of my time on when I was working with my dad. When I was a full-time student in high school, there were some weeks where I worked like, and my dad too, like providing for the family, all that stuff. And shout out to all the good parents out there, not the bad ones, only the good ones. I had great ones. I don't think I have them in here. Where the hell did those go? I definitely didn't throw them away. I have them somewhere. But I have work logs. When I was a full-time student, I would go and I would do the full Monday to Friday class thing. And 4 o'clock, I'd get off the bus from school. I'd work with my dad till 8 at night. And then Saturday, Sunday, he'd not always Sunday, but many times Sunday too. Sometimes Sunday. Usually Sunday was the day off. But I'd work a 12-hour day. We'd get up at 6:30, we'd go get breakfast, and we'd go on the road. And I used to like to count the breakfast time too. I'd like to get my breakfast bought for me and then also be paid for breakfast, because it's like, hey man, I'm waking up at 6:30 on a Saturday, making $5 an hour cash. But I used to put in 12-hour days on Saturdays. I in college, I'd come home on weekends, and I'd sacrifice. I never been a huge going out on the town, doing all these whatever people do in the cities. If I have idle time with nothing to do, I'd always be tinkering with something. I'd be selling Steins. I'd be fixing PS3s. I'd be browsing eBay. I'd be doing something because I just enjoy it. But there's a lot of people that come and do a live stream. If you were to restart today, what would you do? And then people tell them what they do, and then they go and ask 20 more people what they do, and they don't put any of it. Rubber's got to meet the road. Like you've got to do something. What's the title of my stream again? I forgot again. I have way too many tabs open. Where are we? The time to take action is now. And a lot of people just never will. So for those few who will grind and take action, and I'm not telling you to put in 90-hour weeks. I have in my past. I'm not telling you have to. But do something. And 90+% of people are just like not looking past Friday night. They're not setting any kind of goals or plans. They're putting very little effort into anything. They're just kind of like floating through their existence in life. if you put your mind to something and you really truly can look back on what you're doing and like, I gave it my all, most of those people succeed. Be one of those people. I've not started anything new. I need to start new things. My kids ain't getting shit. They can pre-grade their own V's and VMAXs. That's hilarious. I will leave/donate a bunch of benches across the country at random parks. This sitting break is sponsored by Radar. That's funny. But yeah, I spent from 2011 to 2021, I was a full-time engineer doing 40 to 50-hour weeks. There were some weeks that I was 70-hour weeks at my job salary, so no extra pay. But there were weeks where I was doing 50-hour week. 50-hour weeks was probably my average. 45 to 50 was my average. And then there were definitely weeks that I was doing 40 on the side of Pokemon. I would be on that grind. Absolutely. Thank you for the answer, Dan. You really do get to every question. Yep. This bench is sponsored by Radar. Have you heard of Animation Cells? I'm friends with Squeaks. Enjoy your rest. That's hilarious. I did get to your question, Tracy Hills. I'm 1.75 hours behind live, but according to Earn, you're 5'4", 6'4" 3/4. Don't forget the 3/4. I sent 14 cards through Dan. I lost $70, 10 out of 10. My minimum is 50, so I think Knockout Cards and Repack is lying here. I've never done model trains. Your savings rate's actually incredible. That's literally impossible for most people, including myself, to do. I would push back on that. I think if this is one thing that I should talk about in my spending video too. We spent 72 last year. We have a bigger house than we need. We have newer cars than we need. With 2 kids in the county that I live in, counting if I had to pay rent or a mortgage, which I don't, which isn't fair. But my spending was 70-ish grand without a mortgage, without car payments, without student loans. So that's like my true spending. And I'll cover that all in a future video. But if I had to push, we could live, counting our old mortgage. My mortgage used to be $612. If I stayed at that small house, it was a 2-bedroom, but we could do it. The kids could have bunk beds in the small bedroom, 2nd bedroom. I could live this year on 48 grand, counting mortgage, counting everything, 4K a month, guaranteed. We'd be driving 12-year-old cars, not brand new cars. We'd live in the starter house that we started in. We wouldn't have gone on to a bigger house. We wouldn't be eating Wagyu ever, crab legs ever. We'd be eating more rice and beans and chickens and staple and things like that. But there are a lot of people like we back in 2015-ish, a couple years after buying the house, my wife made 50-ish. I made 60, 65. Say we made 115 with the high standard deduction, with all the tax credits. We could have lived on 48K with the side hustle. We could have subsidized that some. I would have written off with the business part of my square footage of my house, part of my utilities. I would have written off one of my vehicles, or part of one of my vehicles. We could have had 75's tough, but we could have had 60% savings rate where I live, where I'm at right now, making what we were making. And like many remote jobs, you can live anywhere. Some people choose to live in a big city when they can live anywhere. So there are people like all you'd have to make, if you're spending $4 grand a month to have a 75% savings rate, you need to make 16 grand a month, and then you save 12, right? 12, spend 4, that's 75%. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that don't, but there's a lot of people that do make that much. And they could spend that, but they choose not to. So like, it is what it is. Again, know your goals, know your all that stuff. Do whatever works for you. But it's very possible, Peak. It's very possible. Let me see. Beak, I said it earlier. Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are right. What is the median? Like the median household income is like 70 grand or something. There are so many people getting by on 50 grand. So it's like if you're in a household disproportionately of the 180 people watching now, right now, between both streams, there are like I'm going to Google it. How many households in the US? I'm really sticking on this one, Peak. How many households in the US by percent make 200K a year? 12 to 16%. That's 1 in 6 to 1 in 8 households make 200K a year. And when I say 75% savings rate, that's gross. So whatever my gross number is, I'm saving, or sorry, I'm talking net. So I'm talking like I'm talking of my gross number, basically after taxes. I guess I might be cheating there a little bit because taxes are a high portion of my situation. But exempting taxes from the scenario, I'm saving 75% of my after tax, basically. But anyways, let me continue on. Avi is on the feet for sure. You've worn the same shirt for 7 booms. I'm not surprised. Yes, absolutely. I took a shot for every time Dan said we're booming, and now I'm dead. What beer are we drinking? We are drinking Voodoo Ranger Tropic Force. Dan, go first class on a plane, dude. You could do this for free through credit card rewards easily. I don't play the whole credit card reward optimizing game. I used to a little bit, but all right, Dan, enough about seconds. Can you tell us what product to buy right now? All of it. Buy every single product low, sell it higher. Or sell Galaxy Grails $500,000 in a month and make a percentage of that, a percentage which I'm pretty sure I know the number. Props to you, Alex. Props to you, Alex, for the massive, massive month. Props to Galaxy, crushing with that platform, with that operation. Sir, I have 2 Flashfire booster boxes. What do you think about moving one and buying some other stuff? Bless me with wisdom. If I had 2 Flashfire booster boxes, I would sell both, personally. Opportunity cost wise, I think I could do better having cash instead of the boxes. What should you do? I don't know you. I don't know your situation, but that's what I would do. MetaZoo, easily worth $100 million. So my net worth is easily $100 million with that. We're at the Chris Camillo dumb money portion. Jumping the line because we booming. Yeah, I apologize for not having taken that. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to star more questions. Yeah, Instagram not posting if you swipe out is whack. The app can still run in the background, but they're trapping you to keep using it. I can't believe that didn't work. I do not give you permission to share my personal data. Oh, that's hilarious. I'm starting more questions. If anyone has any other questions, let me know. I will answer them all. Brick and Morty. Dan, buy the real estate and call it a day. I gave my business card. I gave my number to the guy. Hopefully he follows up because like I'll ask him. I'll ask him what the number is on the local game store. If anyone, ideally it would need to be someone that I know, like Java. I'm win-win. It's not like it's a charity or anything, but I'm assisting him to some extent with his LGS in North Carolina. If a guy like Java wanted to relocate to upstate New York and he wanted to buy like that game store that's local to me, we could do business. He's someone that I've known for a long time. He's someone that I trust, and it would need to be somebody that I know and trust. But things could happen with that potentially. The pack thing we have going on is great. I send him packs. He nets me out 85%. He gets inventory that he doesn't have access to really. He makes a known fixed margin, no capital risk, no cash flow tied up. It's great. And I would love to provide that opportunity to both whoever it was and myself. Like, again, I'm not acting like it's opportunity for Java and not for me. What we're doing works great for me too. So if I could do a joint venture with somebody on a store local to me, Hit me up. My DMs are open. Java or otherwise. Testing the waters with Dan Consignment this week. Looking forward to it being a consistent liquidity source moving forward. OG Weedle Farmer says 8 years will be at iRobot territory. Will the 9s be pulled higher with the 10s, albeit at a slower rate? If so, will the appreciation in those 9s be more than half of the rate in 10s? Anyone's best guess. One thing I like about the 10s, the 9s too, relative to the 10s, 10s are maxed out. 10s are 10s. There's like PSA, there's no way to go higher. So theoretically, where'd they go? Theoretically, this card could someday turn into a 10. This card is maxed out. There's nowhere higher to go. It's a 10. Pristine, black label, yes. But like this card has some built-in potential to potentially go here. This card is maxed out. One thing I like about 9s over 10s is that they have that built-in potential slab arbitrage, I guess. Says he never misses a question and misses a super chat. I did get to it eventually, though. Appreciate you, Pokemat. Yes, 75% savings rate is possible for a lot of people if you live below your means. I'm well over that, but I was scraped to get by my monthly spending below 2K. Yes, everyone's situation is different. I have kids. I would have a hard time getting my monthly spending under 4K, to be honest. But that said, I know families. I go to birthday parties with families, my daughter's friends, my son's friends. I go to birthday parties with families where the father works a job, makes 40 grand a year. The wife is a stay-at-home mom, and 40 grand a year, four person family, 5-6 person family. Like those things exist. Some of them gotten along by Klarna and credit cards and whatever, but like it's absolutely possible. So the fact that simultaneously there are households making 200K, 1 in 6 to 1 in 8 of them, and then I could easily live on 40. Easily, I could live on 48K a year. I would sacrifice. I'll go further. I could live on 48K a year without saying no to my kids on anything that I don't say no on today. So like, I could prioritize my kids' Cub Scout trips. I could prioritize my daughter's dance stuff. You got to buy a fancy thing and it's $80 for a dance recital, $50, $40, whatever. One thing I'm big on is like, I'm not going to sacrifice things for my kids. To an extent, enabled, not entitled. I've had that conversation before. It's not like we go and daddy, I want that. Daddy, I want that. And they get anything they want. But anything that is reasonable that they want, they will absolutely get. When I was younger, my parents, by no means were we rich. By no means were we like upper or even upper middle class or anything. My dad, both my parents worked very hard to provide for us. But if I wanted to go to a basketball camp that was a few $100s, we went. Like we were not told no for things like if I wanted, daddy, I want a PS1 and a PS2 and a PS, like the day they come out and pay all the crazy, like, no, absolutely not. Like we didn't get crazy, stupid things like that. But if I wanted things that were like good for me, good for my growth, development, all that stuff, it was always yes. For my kids, that will always be a yes. And sadly, I grew up with kids. I remember having friends. I was in modified basketball, 6th grade, 7th grade. I'm not going to name it. They're not here. No one's going to know the names. But like, I had friends that their parents, maybe they partook in too many of these. Maybe they partook in too much smoking cigarettes or gambling or whatever it was. And it's sad to think about what some of my childhood friends' families' budgets were and how much was allocated to the parents and how little was allocated to the kids. Like stuff like that. My kids will never have to know. I never had to know. I'm very privileged for having been in that scenario. And my kids are very privileged for never having been in that scenario too. Did I understand 612 mortgage correctly? My rent over here in the PNW suburbs is $2K for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. No one is holding you there, right? So no one is holding you hostage in the Pacific Northwest. I had a $612 mortgage. I bought a house for low hundreds. I financed, so I saved up 20% down. I worked long hours. I worked a lot, high school, college. I saved up a big down payment. I lived with my parents for 2 years after college, and I saved up the down payment. I had a 90-ish thousand-dollar mortgage with 20% down at 2.625%. Quite fortunate with the timing of my mortgage. But it was a 1,000 square foot ranch with a full basement. It was a starter home. It was 2 bedroom, 1 bathroom. And I bought I bought way below my means. At the time, I could have bought a 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom, whatever. The bank would have given me the money. But I want to build a family. I want to do something sustainable. This is a starter home for 5 or 10 years. I ended up living there 6 years, 7 years. So being in the Pacific Northwest to some extent, I know Winona CC. I know the name. I've seen you around for a while and definitely familiar with you to some extent. But I'm not going to pretend to know your situation. But to some extent, like everyone has mobility geographically. At least everyone in the United States has some amount of geographical mobility. We've all been privileged to be born here to some extent over some other places you could have been born in the world. So there's opportunity to live for way cheaper than most people are living, probably. But that's a choice people have to make. Where you're at, though, again, geographical, like you could go somewhere else. I'm not saying you have to, but obviously by no means. If I water my beard every day, how long will it take for me to become a man like you? I don't know how long I've been growing this beard. This is probably 5 months ish, probably since October, if I had to guess. You could go back through my live streams and see. But this is me doing nothing with it. I shape, like you can actually see, like right here, I'm growing these weird hairs that don't fit with my beard. I haven't trimmed these in a week. I need to hit these again. One thing I like about having a beard this long, you can't even see what's down here. Like when my beard is shorter, every week I have to trim my neck some. I feel like I've seen Josh the Green Shiz in a Discord comment somewhere make a comment about like neck beards and like trim your neck. What are you doing with a beard this long? I don't even have to worry about what's going on down here. A couple times I have lifted it and trimmed it some, but like right now you can see it's a mess down there, but it's hidden. So 5 to 6 months. 5 to 6 months is what I would say. I went on all kinds of a rant there. Best way to move trading cards in a general retail store. I don't know what you mean by general retail store. Sell to a guy like me, sell to a streamer, sell to your LGS. Like the liquidity is functionally infinite. What's the smartest way to use distributor access early on? Take all your allocations. I don't play the game like Brian Pokiani. Shout out to him. He buys the sleeves, he buys the binders, and I don't play that game. I just buy what I can sell. But maybe I'm doing it wrong. Shining Legends or Hidden Fates ETB as an investment. I have the opportunity to buy both. I'm buying neither. If I have the ability to buy them at 80%, I'll buy them at 80% and then I'll sell them. So I'm not buying that at all. Talk versus walk. If I had to pick one, I would lean Shining Legends, not knowing the price of either, because I love both sets, honestly. YouTube, the Shiny Vault, like they're both really great sets, but I would lean Shining Legends, but realistically, neither is what I'm buying right now. Dan, who are you choosing in your March Madness bracket? If Arkansas makes a Final Four, I will go to jail with glee. I picked my bracket in like 3 minutes. I don't even remember who I picked as my champion. Tomorrow at noon, when the brackets lock, I will look into who I picked, but I'm not going to spill the secret right now. I'm in a couple pools. I'm in a pool through a mutual friend from a high school friend, and I'm in a big pool. I think we split $1,000, or maybe we split 500. I can't remember. I either owe 250 or 500 to him. We're booming. I don't remember. Only a couple graded cards, but I'm in a big pool with him, and then I'm in a very small pool in the Pokenomics Patreon for a couple $100, like 25 a piece. It's going to be a couple $100 total. I'm going to star all the questions, and I'm going to. So I starred all the way down. I have 12 starred questions. I think at this point, I'm finishing this one. Can I take a bathroom break in 30 seconds? I don't think I can, but I'm going to put the fisherman logo on and I'm going to run to the bathroom and go to the bathroom, and I'll be right back because I can't get through all these questions without taking a bathroom break. I realized I should have turned off my camera as I did that because now I had to awkwardly climb in over the mess that I have. My whole floor around me is such a ridiculous mess. We're booming. One thing I need to do probably isn't listening, but I need to reach out to HiveMind, and I need to get like a for when I have this kind of stream where I need a bathroom break. I need to get like a minute long, 2-minute long button that I can click. That's just like my avatar. And shout out to old school Pokemon Nick. He's posting videos on YouTube again. I need to get a button I can click, like brief intermission, going to the bathroom break, and I'll be back very soon. Make my little avatar do something funny. I know Nick's got a Squirtle Squad guy. I actually do have. Can I find it very quickly? Oh man, I have one that's never been shown before. There's no way I'm gonna find it. So I have one more video. So there's the Red Light Dan intro. There's the Fisherman Dan intro. There's actually another animated thing that I got from HiveMind. Let me see if I can find it in my Google Drive. Maybe I'll use it tonight and then I'll use it more in the future. It's actually the perfect time to use it. I don't think I'm gonna be able to find it. Oh wait, hold on. John's the okay. So let me see if this works. Is this it? Did I just find it? Oh, hold on. That no. I don't know if I'm gonna find it. Let me I'm gonna leave this tab open though. Red Light Dan. There's more things that I have that I need to use. I guess I'll give you a teaser though. Oh no, I just dropped my earbud. I'll give you a little teaser for what I'm talking about. People are like, Dan's lost it. He just took a bathroom break. He left us, and now he's completely out there. So here's a little teaser. There's actually another thing that's already made. I've never launched it. But Avatar Dan that you know and love, I have a little segue. I have a little intermission thing with Rocket Dan. We're in a boom. How have I not used this? Shout out to HiveMind. If you ever want little graphics made, if you ever want the little loading screen, stream starting screens made, that I use, that old school Pokemon uses, reach out to him. So I at this time, there's 11 chats that I haven't seen yet. There are 12 starred chats. I'm cracking the final beer that I have. There's no more beer in my house, so this is the last one. But I'm answering every question. Hit me with your questions. I'm good. I'm good until I'm done. Jumping the line because we're booming. This is one that I had missed. Apologies, Kuyan Collectibles. Did somebody just super chatted again? Ricky comes in, and I'm on a bathroom break, and I'm not answering any questions. No question, just always appreciate your transparency and encouragement, my friend. Anyway, anyone hit Dan Bingo yet? Booming, smart goals, red light, shining Gyarados, burn tower, buckets. So I hadn't yet mentioned of those. Booming was hit multiple times. Smart goals was hit. Red light, I talked about it, but I didn't do the red lights. Shining Gyarados and burn tower weren't hit, but the buckets were definitely hit. So appreciate you, Oyama. If anyone doesn't follow him, I don't know how you could follow me without following Ricky. He recently went full time, and when I went full time, I only it's relative. I only made 80 grand a year as an engineer in upstate New York. Ricky had a very solid career trajectory, and he was making like very solid money, and he took a big leap. Shout out to him. Very bullish. If I could invest in the IPO of Oyama's Trading, I would invest right now. But definitely go check him out. Appreciate you very much for being here. I'm going to continue taking questions. As I said, I will answer every question as I always do. How do you feel about botting becoming the norm for average collectors now, or simply missing out on new sets? I don't love it. In a perfect world, product would be available at or under MSRP. That is literal, like manufacturer suggested retail price. That is the way that it is intended to be. I think it hurts the hobby. Genuinely, the whole think of the children, genuinely, like all that over a long enough time frame. If Walmart shelves are empty, if Target shelves are empty because everything's always above MSRP, that will hurt the hobby, truly. To what extent, how much damage, it's impossible to quantify. But I really want things to come back around, and I know they will on a long enough timeline. If you would ask me 14 months ago, I was making lives then, I was making videos then, I would have thought it would have been sorted within a year. I've been shocked how long we've been booming, but I'm along for the ride like everyone else. Hey, Dan, if someone wants to take action, but it means potentially losing health insurance, is this environment best for taking on that risk? So I made a video years ago on insurance. I have kids. It's funny the timing, because like I was literally joking. It's a serious topic, but I was joking in Discord earlier about like one of my non-negotiables. I have to have health insurance. I have to have it. And depending on your income, depending on your country, depending on your situation, health insurance is a very wide varying thing. Shout out to all the sugar mamas out there. I was able to take the leap 5 years ago. I have a wife that has a teaching job that gives us health insurance. And I'm not going to show it on screen, obviously. I have my wife's W-2 right here in front of me. On my wife's W-2, in box 12A, code DD, my wife's, so my wife makes, I can tell you exactly what she makes. I have her W-2 in front of me. Her gross pay is high 50s. Her employer sponsored healthcare contributions in box 12A DD are $26.7 thousand. I'm not going to get deep into it, but recently, daughter's had some things, wife has had some things. We don't really have dental, but like we've all had things to some extent. A couple of years ago, publicly, I had my appendix out. Like her health insurance is very good. I would never personally go uninsured health insurance. I have a wife, 2 kids, non-negotiable. I have a very solid net worth in the 7 figures. There are medical expenses that could arise in my country, in the United States, that are well into the 6 figures, in the 7 figures. Like, hopefully we will never be cursed with any of those things to happen. But like any day, those things could happen. That is wipeout risk. I've always advocated for insuring against wipeout risk. So me personally, I would never go uninsured. Your situation, I don't know you. Look into catastrophic insurance. If and when, I've had the conversation with my wife multiple times, if and when she ever quits her job while we still have kids under 26, under where they could be on our insurance, I've looked into, and I need to look into it more, and I want to make videos about it. I've looked into what it would cost based on her W-2. If I wanted to replicate the policy she has today, it would cost about $2,500 a month. We're booming. That's doable. If I had to pay $2,500 a month, I could do that. But there are better options. There are better options where the deductible is very high, catastrophic. They only cover very big numbers. Like, I would personally look into that. I don't know you. I don't know your situation. So, like, always personal. But, like, I would never personally. When will you get the Pokey Gangster on the pod? I don't know if I know who the Pokey Gangster is. I feel like I took a question earlier from a Pokey Gangster, but shoot me a DM. Maybe I'll get him on someday. Can you let us know what you're going to pump on the Card Lounge podcast before you do? They get a lot of views. So shout out to Ricky again, Uyama. I was on with him and I was on with Jar Chomp. They get so many more views than I do. Did I pump anything on that? I've mentioned this before. I'm not an influencer. I don't intend to pump. I tell you what I'm doing and why. Sometimes that means that I'm showing and kind of talking about things that I own, but I always disclose that. I always give the disclaimers. I couldn't sleep well at night if I was truly pumping and dumping things like that. So unfortunately, there's no Patreon tier level that will allow you to access some Card Lounge pump and dump. I'm just not going to do it. My morals are worth significantly more than that. I hit that one already. The economic result of this war will be lower energy costs that will translate to lower U.S. inflation. This will give the incoming Fed chair cover to be able to reduce interest rates to stimulate the economy. That is a lot of macro stuff that, like, I don't know. I don't want to get into the politics of the Iranian conflict. Is it a war? Is it a conflict? I am not an expert on any of these things. I generally only stick my nose into things that affect me and I can control. Absolutely, the Iranian conflict can potentially affect me to some extent. I can't control it whatsoever. So, like, I'm not well educated on it. But, like, as I said 2 hours ago or an hour and a half ago, in the back of my mind, there is some percent chance that we go into some big conflict, war, whatever. We go into some recession, and that should be in everyone's calculus. Everyone should calculate the risk of, like, broader market uncertainty, broader market downturns, recessions, depressions. How will that affect you? How will that affect your business? How will that affect your family? That is something that I always consider. There's always some percent chance that things like that are going to happen. And I'm very confident in my ability. If the S&P tomorrow were to drop 50%, if the S&P 500 over the next 10 years were to return 0%, if we were to have a lost decade starting tomorrow, if all Pokemon were flat, stagnant, if margins went away, I would be fine. I wouldn't love it. It wouldn't be fun. It would hurt, but I would survive it. A lot of people wouldn't. And again, everyone's situation is different, yada, 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 all that stuff. If you found someone to partner with, what would be your plan for taking advantage of the physical store? So I have access to a fair bit of capital. I have access to a fair bit of advantageous connections. If and when someone as I speak, I look at my Discord. Since I started this live, I have like 10 Discord DMs. I have like probably a handful of Instagram DMs. Some people might want to CGC Fanatics submission number. Some people might be talking about whatever. What is my wife doing? My wife wants a code for her ESPN login, so that she can do a bracket. I'm going to send her the code that's probably already expired. She's probably already sleeping. 6 minutes ago, though. Maybe there's a 10-minute delay on that code, but I just sent her the code. Anyways, what was I saying? So there, I could wake up tomorrow. I could have a DM, and I would supply some amount of my cash flow. I would supply some amount of my capital. I would supply potentially access to the eBay Live platform. I would supply potentially eBay Fanatics Live platform. I would supply potentially my name, Catch 'em All Collectibles. I would supply inventory. I have a lot of inventory, a lot of packs, a lot of single slabs, a lot of different stuff. There's a potential that if the right person were to reach out to me tomorrow, I could pursue buying an LGS. It would need to be all the right things falling into place at the right time. It would have to be like the perfect scenario, but never say never, as I said. But yeah, there's a store relatively local to me. 3 times a week, I drive within 30 seconds of this store. 3 times a week, I am within 30 seconds of this store, and you could buy it. I don't even know what the cost of it is. I don't know what he's asking, but you could buy it. Store on floor 1, play space on floor 2, living space on floor 3. That is some people's dream. If I could simultaneously help someone that I know and interact with and trust, if I could help that person achieve their dream with some amount of risk to them, with some amount of risk to me, with some amount of potential reward to them and me, I would heavily consider. Like, how long is the list of people that could message me that would be in that scenario? There might be 50 people out there that I know well enough to like, let's talk. Let's have a 2-hour FaceTime call. I'll get the owner on the phone. We'll figure out, like, it's exciting to even think about that. But it's also a little scary to think about that, because that's potentially a lot. But it's exciting. Like, we're booming the opportunity, as I've said, yada, yada, yada. Sell a 151 UPC to get more Ascended Heroes ETBs, or just keep holding the 151 UPC. If I had to choose, I would rather have equal value in Ascended Heroes ETBs, but like, I don't love either one. I have a decent amount of both, but I don't want to buy and hold. I want to buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. That's what I do. Depending on your situation, not everyone has the time to do that. So like, if I had to for 5 years, I would lean Ascended Heroes ETBs, but it's not like 99% Ascended, 1% 151. It's like 70-30 maybe. I don't know. I would need to think about it more. But how do you differentiate what to send to CGC versus PSA if it's 44 or 56, and if it has 1 white dot or 2 small white dots? I send 90+% of what I grade to CGC Fanatics because I have the relationship with CGC Fanatics. If I send a PSA, I have no advantages. I have one word that's not used enough in this space is like a moat. So my business, pretend my business is a castle. You should build out your moat. One of my business moats is that I have a relationship with Fanatics. I sell for better fees than almost everyone in the world on Fanatics. I grade with CGC. I need to be careful how much I disclose. I grade with CGC. I graded with CGC at one of the cheapest rates on the planet of everyone, through Fanatics. And that's one of my strengths. I lean into that. That's one of my advantages. I lean into that. So like, since I have that, since I don't have that with PSA, I send so much more to CGC. Do I send some to PSA? Absolutely. These aren't mine. Look at this stack. This is a consigner. I don't know if he watches my videos, but if he's out there, he can let us know. These are not all mint. Some of these are mint. Some of these are very, very damaged. Some of these are going to be PSA 1s. These are all going to PSA tomorrow. Look at these cards. These cards are insane. If these were mine, if these were my cards, many of these would go to CGC, but some would go to PSA. How do I decide PSA versus CGC? Generally speaking, bigger number, better. You can never know. You can have a suspicion. You can have an idea. You can have an inkling that, like, I think this one has too many white dots. I think it'll 9 at PSA. I think it'll 10 at CGC. But every day there are cards, new sir, old sir, I don't care. There are cards that have a lot of white that PSA 10 every day. Every day. The scale, the grade. So it's all a gamble to some extent. That's part of why I love it. So most goes to CGC. If I'm very confident it will CGC 10, not pristine, and I think it has a decent plus EV chance of PSA 10ing, I go PSA. But like, I'm sending 1,000 plus a month to CGC personally for me, not counting those consignor cards. I'm sending less than 100 a month to PSA, and then I send less than 50 a month to BGS. I'm 90+% CGC because of my advantages. Question: Gemmett Pokemon said on his podcast last week that he thinks the new print facility won't be able to meet demand. If so, what do you think the future of Pokemon looks like? I think it will meet demand. So he thinks it won't. I think it will. Who's right? Who's wrong? I don't know. I don't care that much. Like, it affects me, but I can't control it. Two things need to happen for me to worry about them. I need to be affected, and I need to have control. I'm affected. I don't have control. I don't worry that much. I think it will meet demand. I don't know if it will, but who cares? I can't control it. So I'll do what I'm doing until then. So 23 more questions in chat, comments in chat. Some people. So one thing that geographically ties me, to be fair, again, everyone's situation is different. I'm not a lawyer. Pokey Lawyer Dave, go check out his channel. He's collabing with PokeVault on the whole drama, saga, scamming, whatever from that guy. Definitely go check him out. Great insights. Met him at Card Party. But everyone's situation is different. Oh, my wife's code already expired. But everyone's situation is different. I have a great support system in my parents. And my wife's family's near here too, and my grandparents and all that stuff. So I'm very geographically tied to upstate New York where I'm at. I could move, but like when I go to a Collecticon, I leave my dog with my parents. When I go to Collecticon, we have friends, family, whatever that stop in and check on our cat. We have very good setups in place. If the wife and I want to hit the town, go on a date night, my kids will spend the night at one of their grandparents, wherever. I don't want to leave anytime soon. And yeah, Pokey Lawyer Dave, law license practice, holding him hostage in the PNW. What does it take to become a lawyer in Kansas, in Arkansas, in New York, in Florida? I have no clue. Everyone's situation is different. Know your situation. Going back to my video. Going back to my video that people thought wasn't actionable enough. Where'd it go? So let me share. Going back to my video on Monday that I made. Here we go. Share this one. So every situation is different. Know your own. Seek the Holy Trinity. Find where you enjoy something. Make money in something you're good at. And then dive into that. Lean into that. Everyone's situation is so different. I don't know you. Some of you I know to an extent. But like, know your situation, know your goals, do things that bring you closer to them every day. That's all you can do. I can't tell you in a live stream. Consults are there, the Patreon's there if you want to go deeper, but you don't need to by any means. I want to convene a panel at a courthouse in Virginia to sign a treaty with you. What an incredible beard. Oh, man. Have a great night, Dave. I'm sure you're already sleeping. This was 25 minutes ago. Beard's got to go, Dan. I missed the fresh cut. It's actually funny. So all the time that I've been like relatively trim, I've never had people tell me that my stubble was like, oh, nice beard, nice facial hair. The amount of people that I get in public when I was down in New York City for the event, when I go to my dentist, when I go to random places in public, go to the bank, go to the post office, I get people saying like, what a great beard. What products do you use? I don't use any products. It's so funny to like get stopped in real life. Actually, I'm going to New York City in like less than a couple of weeks for a Rangers game. I'll probably keep my beard through that. Probably after the Rangers game, before PokeCon, I'll cut my beard. But it's funny how many times in public I get like, what a great beard. The fresh cut will come back though someday. I did wash my hands. I didn't sing happy birthday while washing my hands, but I definitely washed them. I asked the question up above, but I think it was skipped. I think I got to it, but if I missed it, ask it again. We're booming too much to take time to shave, leave the beard. Absolutely. There's GalaxyGrails.io right there. Again, we're at Oyama's super chat. Galaxy, I want my Espeon. When is it shipping? Full time sounds risky. 5 to 15 business days. Ernesto, Skate Ernesto. We are indeed live. 20 minutes ago, he was here. Card Crater. I think USA healthcare is imperfect. I think most healthcare around is imperfect. Which one is optimal? I don't know. But we were actually talking about that in Discord earlier in the Patreon. There are a lot of countries out there that have free healthcare that if they make above 100 grand, they get taxed at like 80% rates. I'm not going to get political. I don't want to do it. I'm not Democrat. I'm not Republican. I'm not even in the middle. Every individual topic, idea, every individual dilemma that's out there in society, I have my own unique opinion on. I don't align with either side. I don't align as a centrist, but I think there's a lot of, both in and out of Pokemon, there's a lot of people that overly simplify, that overly distill down very complex situations into black versus white, binary, whose side are you on? Here's the line in the sand, pick your side, and if you're not on my side, I hate you. It's very negative EV. We are booming. It is very negative EV to get caught up in the politics, to get caught up in the tribalism, in my opinion. And healthcare is one of those things. The Second Amendment is one of those things. Abortion is one of those things. And I'm not going to elaborate on any of those. But like, so many of those things are so much more complex than anyone can talk about in even an hour of context. I'm not even going to touch them. How's it going, Pokey Chef? Bit of the Cardinal crew there popping in to say what up. As someone who experienced a 7-digit health insurance bill, preach. Yeah, I don't want to get into the intricacies of what Squeaks underwent, but I would call Squeaks a close friend in the hobby. I've met him in real life. I've talked with him. I know what situation he's referencing here. I have a lot of close family and friends who have underwent a lot of things. I've seen a lot in my life. 35 years, I'm sure I'll see a lot more. So I would never go uninsured. Life, limb, all those things are way too precious to gamble with. And uh, education wise, a lot of it's lacking, myself included. So I am of the fortunate situation where I have a sugar mama. My wife has box 12A, DD code DD. My wife has a $27,000 value health insurance package through her job that has a high $50,000 salary. So like her health insurance package from her W2 job is worth almost a third of what her total package is. Like, that's crazy. If and when, which I've told my wife, to be completely clear here, I've told my wife, give me notice. Give me 12-month notice. I've told my wife, like 75% savings rate, she can quit whenever she wants. She gets fulfillment. We get health insurance. She gets other things. Life is not all about money by any stretch of the imagination. But I've told her, if it becomes too much and you want to quit, give me 6 to 12 months notice and you can quit whenever you want. I will do my due diligence. If we have to, at the end of the day, if we have to pay $2,500 a month to be insured, we will pay $2,500 a month to be insured. There's tax incentives, deductibles, HDHPs, and all these different things. High deductible healthcare plans. There's HSAs, and there's so many layers, but I'm not super educated. If and when necessary, if my sugar mama decides she wants to leave her job, she absolutely can, and I will become educated, and we will do what works best for us. But again, my situation is mine and mine alone, and everyone's situation is different, and you need to educate yourself on what yours is and what's best for you, and a lot of people just don't. A lot of people stay ignorant. And to be fair, I say that I'm ignorant to what our health insurance situation would be, aside from just paying what her box 12A code double D is. Continuing on. Your work ethic makes me feel lazy, even though I'm working 14-hour days. Keep it up. Got to take advantage of this. Boom. Yes. The time to take action is now, as the title says. Dan got nervous. She was about to call him out on sharing the W-2. So the way it works in New York is that maybe in every state, I don't know, but her salary is public. She's a public servant. She's a public employee. She works for the state. She works for a school in the state. So if you could literally look up what her salary is. In any of her, I remember when I was back in school, I used to look up and some of my different teachers' salaries, and it's like, this is a dangerous thing to say, especially with a wife as a teacher. But I had a ton of teachers growing up. I had some amazing teachers, great, underpaid, yada yada yada, all that stuff. But like, what's the average teacher salary? I'm gonna get in trouble for this. Average teacher salary, US 2025. The average teacher salary in the US for 2024 to 2025 is estimated at $74,000. My wife doesn't make that. Supply and demand exists even in the teaching space with unions and yada yada yada. Unions, again, one of those very split things, and I'm not going to say whether I'm pro or against. It's not that black and white. It's very gray, and depending on the situation, blah blah blah. I'm not going to elaborate, but the general sentiment is that teachers are underpaid. Supply and demand exists, and 74K. So average teacher salary is 74K. If I look up median household income in 2025, it's 83K. So one party, one employee, one person, the median salary is almost the median household income. And the median household is 1 point whatever income earners. So like, it's gray. There are some teachers out there that are way overpaid. Some are way underpaid. I I'll give you one con about unions. I'm not saying I hate unions universally, but one con about unions is that they protect bad workers. My dad used to work in a union job at a college. Horrible workers were protected. Good workers could not be promoted and excel and given bonuses and given pay incentives to justify how much better they were than some of their cohorts, I guess. So yeah, I'll leave it there. But my wife wouldn't care sharing what she makes because friends, family, whoever, they all can easily know if they care to. Don't know if you've already covered this. Thoughts on McDonald's trading cards? Love it. 2.5 by 3.5 inch cardboard rectangles, especially with rounded corners. I love them. My kids, and maybe some people with young kids out there, they're called Bear, like BEAR, Bear trading card, like gummy snacks. It's like a coil. Let me. I'll put it on screen. I'm not pumping, but I probably have a master set of Bear trading cards. So if you've got kids out there and you know what these are, let me know. So it's like in every pack of fruit rolls, you find a collectible card. I've never graded, honestly, for the memes. I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write down CGC Cross Fanatics Bear cards. I don't know if they would grade them, but yeah, you buy a fruit roll snack thing, healthy, whatever, probably not actually that healthy, and you get a random card. We probably have multiple master sets of these things. There's a koala, there's an albatross, there's like all these things. We have a lot of them. I'm not pumping, but like these might be coming to Fanatics near you soon. That's funny. I didn't know we were gonna be doing that tonight, but McDonald's trading cards, put them in plastic, make some margin. Ascended Heroes ETBs. I don't think I have one close to me, but I like them. So I'm going to continue scrolling. What does chat think is playing on Dan's one headphone? So as we speak, we are listening to Faith Hill, Love the Way You Love Me, a 90s country classic. Faith Hill, I believe she's still married to Tim McGraw. I'm not a very like celebrity Faith Hill husband. Is she still married to Tim McGraw? She is. She's been married since 1996. So this song specifically, I Love the Way You Love Me, is about how much her and Tim love each other. So yes, great song. Scrolling down, starting questions. Yes, we are booming. We're live after 1 a.m. It is 11 p.m. Mountain Time, and you're still live. People do not comprehend the extent to which we're booming. I cannot say it enough. The beard has grown a measurable amount since I've been live. We're live 3.5 hours. It's been a while. Most Australian government employees are public, mainly just the brackets. I might be misspeaking here. If UAP is in chat, I believe there are Norwegian nations for which like everyone's salary is public. I think that's a thing. I could be making that up, but let me. Google's here. We're live. Google's here. Norwegian salaries all public. I think that's a thing where like you can look up anyone's salary. In Norway, income, wealth, and tax records for all citizens are public, allowing anyone to search for what others earn via the tax administration's website. Searches are not anonymous. Individuals are notified of who has searched for their information. So if you search for my information, if I lived in Norway and you searched me up, I would see that Knockout Cards and Repacks was pocket watching a little bit. What action are we to take, buy or sell? Yes, both, all. 90s country, you love to see it. How many times did he say we boom in this stream? When the stream ends tomorrow, sometime somebody go back, Control F in the transcript for boom. Sometimes it takes like 12 to 24 hours for the transcript to populate. But Control F for boom, if you're listening later, let us know in the comments. How many times did I say boom? Probably 60, if I had to guess. I'm going to say 60. Let me know in the live chat, over or under. Buy my collection, LOL. DM me, LOL. DM me. Maybe I'll buy it. 7 starred questions. If people have more questions, ask them in the chat. Once I answer these 7 questions, if no new questions come, I will end the stream, as I always do. Do you think it will or won't be able to meet demand? Oh no, this was part 2 of a 2-part question. What was asked before this? I don't remember. Oh, the print capacity. I think it will. I think I covered this. Question: when are you going to change your opinion on Pokemon Center ETBs? So go back years ago. My opinion has always been that they might do well, but I don't love that I don't have access to them. Part of the reason that I don't like them is probably a bullish indicator for them. So if I wanted to put 50 grand into PC ETBs, that's a nightmare. That is a logistical nightmare. That probably inherently makes them a better investment than a lot of other things, because guys like me just I can't get a lot of them easily, and I just don't. I decide not to. So I don't like them, but I don't like them for a reason that is like bullish. So do with that what you will. I covered that one. This is a good one. Very good. Check Yes or No by George Strait is what we're listening to that right now as we speak. 90s country is where it's at. Question: I'm not sure if you've answered this yet. I sent hundreds of cards for the CGC Fanatics, but I noticed the spreadsheet only shows the names and grades, no cert numbers. So there's a chance. I'm a human. I wish I were more robotic, as the meme suggests. But let me know. Shoot me an email, shoot me a DM. So the way the consignment works, this is, it's not risky. I'm not going to show anyone's personal information, but I'm going to show my template. So I'm going to full screen this. I'm not going to show any other consignor sheets, but here's the template. So the way the consignment works with the Fanatics, I will put your email here. If you care to share your address, I'll put it here. Some people do, some people don't. I'll put it there. If something were to happen to me, if I became incapacitated, if consignments needed to be returned for any reason, having an address is just a measure of safety, whatever. But when I pay you, how much I pay you, where I pay you here, Zelle, ACH, PayPal, friends and family. But when you submit to me, you'll get a list here. So it'll say like, hey, March 19th, Johann Gauss submitted 50 cards to me for CGC Fanatics. The submission number was this, the quantity was this, the USPS tracking was this. And then 4 weeks later, approximately, when they're graded, I'll list in the auction column, I'll list WA219. These are going live tomorrow in WA219, or today actually. It's 1 a.m. Eastern. I'll list the titles here. I'll list the cert numbers here, and I'll list the folder here. Once they sell, based off the cert and based off the folder, it will tell you the status, if it's paid. If it's paid, the paid out amount will populate, the final price, the rate, the surcharge, the grading fee, all those things will populate, and then it'll show you how much I owe you. So there's a chance when I list your item, so you can sign, you send me 100 cards, 4 weeks later they're graded. Manually, I have to populate the 100 cards you graded. The title goes here. The 100 cards you graded, the folder goes here. The cert goes here. I'm a human. If I forgot to copy and paste the cert, your sales won't show their final price. They won't show if they were paid or not. So I am human. I have made the error. Always DM me, always email me, whatever. I might need to fix your sheet. I apologize if that's the case. It has happened before. It will happen again, almost certainly. But I do my best to not make mistakes. Continuing on. Since I like buying cheap cards on Fanatics, how can I avoid the risk of bidding on my own items? If I did, it would look like intentional show bidding, and I want to avoid that. So there's another aspect. So the way it works with Fanatics, I can see what items are mine if I go on Fanatics. This is one thing that like I fell at big time. So I run a consignment service on Fanatics. I highlight them on my Instagram. I should highlight them on my let me do this where it doesn't show you what I net and everything. I should highlight every week that I'm live on YouTube. I should highlight my items that are on Fanatics. So let me sort by high to low. Let me go full screen. So I'm going to share again. But this Sunday, I have big items ending. So I have the Pichu PSA 10 first edition, pop 39 or something. I have the Rayquaza. It's Rayquaza, not Rayquaza. I'm on Earn side. The Elottie, Ernie. Are you still here? So if Earn's here, Rayquaza, not Rayquaza. If Ernie's here, Elottie, Charizard. These items at the bottom, they say this is your listing. I can't bid on it. I can't do anything. But check out all these items. Crazy items every week, every Sunday. Go check the Catch 'em All Collectibles filter. Consign today, all the good stuff. But one thing I have, because they're on my account, is I have the this is your listing. Please don't do this. I'm going to say two things. This is not advocating for anything, as always. But I can't bid on my own items as a function of Fanatics' platform. They don't let me, as they shouldn't. If you consign with me, Fanatics doesn't know that. Theoretically, you could bid on your own items. Fanatics has no way of knowing that you sent items to be sold on my account. Please, honor system, don't bid on your own items. But if you do, I have no way of seeing that. I have no way of knowing. I see if an item gets paid or unpaid. One thing I do track. So my overall global unpaid rate is about 3%. If you consign with me and you have an unpaid rate of like 30 or 40 or 50%, if you submit 2 cards and 1 goes unpaid, it's probably just unlucky. But if you submit 300 cards and 150 go unpaid, I'm probably going to message my rep and, hey, who was the high bidder on the 150 unpaid cards? I've never had it happen so far. I hope I never have it happen. But theoretically, I could inquire with Fanatics. I could find out the bidder info. And I will ban you. It will be bad. Don't do it, please. But I have no direct way of knowing. So that's just transparent Dan giving the actual real information. Obviously, not advocating for anything. But question, can I make $100K a year hitting buy it now on ZNG and just having him go again at auction? I don't want to ship or touch any cards as I'm allergic to cardboard and plastic. $1 of capital. So Nate Midnight must be in the Discord because we were memeing on this earlier. Some of the short sold buy it nows, I think you could have just bought at 100% and then sold them through ZNG, through Fanatics, Catch 'em All Collectibles, and made a lot of money. We talked about that 3 hours ago too, so maybe it was just here. You were so clean shaven for so long. Was you aware your beard came in so well? No. So I weird thing to come up, but I skipped first grade. I guess I was very good at coloring inside the lines. I was like memeing, but I was good at math. I was good at reading, and the way my elementary school worked. Yes, elementary, not elementary. The way my elementary school worked, kindergarten through second grade were like all kind of together. And in kindergarten, I was doing the work with the first graders. I think kindergarten and first grade were together. The blue team. Shout out to the blue team. Um, in kindergarten, shout out to my parents. They trained me very well. I was very smart, very good at reading, writing, arithmetic, all the R's. And I did all my work kindergarten year with the first graders. So when the next year came along, I was supposed to go to first grade. First graders went to second grade. All my friends, all the kids that I did work with, all the people that I hung out with, they were moving on to second grade, and I'm like, why? I learned all this last year. Why are you teaching me the same stuff you were teaching me? All my friends are in second grade. Put me there. So meetings with parents, counselors, principals, all that stuff. They moved me from kindergarten. I went to second grade to be with everyone I worked with all kindergarten year. In hindsight, all the studies on younger athletics, like my parents may or may not have held me back from the NFL. My height, 6'4 3/4. I theoretically could have been in the NFL. Most professional athletes were born in the first half of the year because of the advanced age. And I'm memeing. I don't think I would have been in any of that, but it's interesting to think about. But I skipped first grade. I graduated high school at 17. I graduated college at 21. I will openly say at 21, I could not grow much of a beard. At 20, so if you're out there, if you're listening, if you're 21 and you want to grow a beard like this, I couldn't do it at 21. And then at 21, I got a job as a chemical engineer. I had to wear a full face respirator for the next decade periodically. I had to be clean shaven. I'd skip a week or two. I'd have stubble. I still pass my fit test. But for 10 years, I couldn't grow a beard like per my job description. And 2 weeks, holidays, Christmas, New Year's, I'd grow some stubble. But in 2021, for the first time, I was allowed to grow a beard. So I started doing it some. So yeah, that's why and how it came about. But through 21 years old, I could not grow a beard to save my life. I shaved some in high school and college, but it was like I was not preventing this. This was not a thing back then. Better collect cashed cards or booster boxes? Cashed? Do you mean, is this like a type of regrading? I don't know what, but it's better to collect whatever you enjoy collecting. If your only goal is like collecting, enjoyment, all that stuff, collect what you enjoy. Let's see. Dan, how does one make it to your featured collection on Fanatics? So going back to this. So if you can sign with me, it's all based off card ladder. If your card ladder valuation is above $100, you will feature in Catch 'em All Collectibles filter. If your card ladder valuation is below 100, of which the vast majority of what I sell is below 100. So I have 132 results in the filter. I have thousands not in the filter. So if you're below that, you're not going to be in the filter. You're only in the filter if the card ladder is above 100, is the way it works. Dan, what is your birthday? Is this Ponga's alt? We were talking recently, so I've said this before. Once you're 25, 26, birthdays don't matter anymore. Once you fall off, at least in the US, once you fall off your parents' health insurance, birthdays don't matter anymore. I on Facebook, on wherever, I don't even use Facebook hardly. I don't share my birthday anywhere really. I don't care to be celebrated. I don't deserve celebration. Kids, all that stuff. 16 license, 18 cigarettes and gambling in some places, and 21 alcohol and gambling, and 26 health insurance, 35, 36. Nobody cares. I don't even care. So I don't disclose. Your birthday is all that matters. What item should I make Nick rip when I fly to Chicago in June? Base first booster box. For sure. That's the only way to go. Collect mega Evo booster box of just buy the top Charizard card or just buy. The card is $650 and the box is $290. Isn't it better? It's almost always better to buy the card as opposed to try to rip the card. But yeah, birthdays matter for how your knees and other joints feel. I've finally made it to the bottom of chat. We are booming so hard. I've almost been live for 4 hours. I only had, so shout out to anyone else who was partaking with me in chat. I only had 4 beers in my home. I still haven't finished my 4th beer. I've been live for 4 hours. I wouldn't go operate heavy machinery. I would not go drive a vehicle. But like I'm these are heavy. These are heavy percentage. But 4 beers in 4 hours. I'm doing fine. I've been here for hours. Don't regret it. I'm going to bed. Great stream. I want to get beers soon. Yes, I've had a great night. I love the market we're in, the situation we're in. I love the following I've cultivated. Thank you, everyone, for providing me the opportunity to be able to go live and just chat, hang out for almost 4 hours with everybody and have a great time. Hopefully it provides a lot of value, education, entertainment, whatever, to you guys. It definitely provides a lot of entertainment, a lot of value to me. Occasionally I learn things. But yeah, I'm having a great time. We're booming. Catch me live tomorrow in office hours in the Patreon, 11 a.m. to noon Eastern. Like, subscribe. I'm on the drive. Smart goal, 10K subs. I'm going after smart goal right there. We're doing the smart goal, 10K subs by the end of the year. Catch Spat Grimer Beerski on eBay. Catch PK Ponga Beerski on Fanatics. We are booming. Good luck. Godspeed. May Arceus bless you all. I appreciate you all watching. I will catch you all later.